Afadhali mzee ambaye ni mtulivu, ambaye hana haja ya kujaza mifuko yake, ambaye atachunga masilahi ya watu yake, badala ya mdomo tamtamu 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 tamtamu. Lakini akiingia ni wale wa kufanya moja yako, nusu ya mwananchi, mbili yako na tano yangu. Na mnawajua nyinyi
kutafuta uongozi kwa kutumia dini au kutumia kabila, unagawa watu. Kazi ya uongozi ni kujenga watu wawe kitu kimoja.
The 2.2 billion has been spent in the office of the President and State House between July and September. If you do that calculation, it means that we spend in that office 23 million per day and 1 million per hour. That cannot be sustainable.
Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunakaa kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako.
Nasikia watu wanasema baba ametusaliti. Between baba kutusaliti na sisi kusaliti baba, nani amesaliti mwingine?
Inapeangwa, it mostly goes to foreign ministries. So baba is overqualified for that position.
To build this railways for Africa. So now he's thinking about tumemkataa kama baba wetu.
Unaweza kuwa kuna mtoto ulizaa ukapatia nchi ikuwe inamfanya vile inataka.
Uhuru has been working very hard. Ruto akaenda huko na nguvu. Ruto was never invited in the inauguration.
Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye Sound Card Talk.
Open Forum Political Discussion Show. The show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think about the latest development.
Tukutane Sound Card Talk.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. We are glad you're watching. Thank you so much for making time to join us. This is Sound Candid Talk, Open Forum Political Discussion Show, the show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think about the latest development on our political front. I salute each and every one of you as you join us from wherever you are. We're glad that you are here, and we are set to see to it that we get into the conversation and, of course, seek a lasting solution to our never-ending issues in our country. Well, as the country still comes to terms with the shocking revelations of this extravagant trip of William Ruto to the US, well, it was claimed here by one of the UDA bloggers that we as Sound Candy Talk don't understand the diplomacy language. He claimed something like when there is a state visit, the hosting country takes care of all the bills. So we told him he's the one who needs to update. Well, the US has come out and said, no, the extravagant hired jet and everything else. I understand William Ruto has carried over 230 what? Over 230 people with him in his trip. And so those bills are not being paid for from the US. They are being paid for from right here, from that hustler and that mamamboga and huyo mtu wa mkokoteni, from their taxes. That is what is paying for the extravagant travel by William Ruto to the US, of which we are not sure of what are we getting back in return. And so, as much as we are being preached to about getting out of the hole, there is somebody digging us further into the same hole and pretending not to be part of the problem when he's actually the real problem. Now, more saddening than that is that over 600,000 qualified university students in this country that is eligible to join the university did not apply for the slots in the university. That means over 500,000 students who sat for their exam, passed the exam, eligible for university, but from the situation in the country and, of course, the hard times that we're in, they did not even pick pen and made the application. So, are we not facing another crisis here where our education sector is as good as dead? Remember, the Standard 8 Form 1 transition, which Uhuru Kenyatta and team worked so hard to ensure that there is 100% transition from primary to secondary. In this very year, we have had a crisis where 300,000 did not report to Form 1. And now 600,000 have not reported to the university. What's happening? Is our education still education? Do we still have, education as a priority in this country? We'll need to look at that closely. Then, of course, the Ministry of Health is blaming Treasury for the shortage of vaccines that are meant for the newly born. So the newly born are in problem. Those going to Form 1 are in problem. Those going to the university are in problem. Yet the CEO himself, William Ruto, is enjoying a fully paid for trip across the continent, across the oceans, in a private jet. What's cooking in this country? Well, I invite you to join into the conversation and call upon you. Please, let's be on the forefront even as we engage. We'll begin with that story. The link to use to get in the studio is already available in the comment section. Please click on the link, get into the studio, let's talk. And I also want to encourage my kereketo wangu msikae mbali. I'll be here, but I may not stay long. I'm not feeling myself yet, so I need to continue with my rest. All the same, Dahi, Ishmael, karibu kwa show. Esther Stoll, karibu kwa show. Freedom, karibu kwa show. Thank you for being here. MNA, karibu kwa show. PK, karibu kwa show. Asante sana. Asante sana mzee wetu Michael Ngiga anasema huyu jamaa akalishwe masaa, okay, afurushwe teketeke. Hakuna kucheka na yeye. Ruto must go. Haya, mzee huyo ashatoa verdict yake. Charles Green Ruto has gone to the US to take photos with US celebrities. Exactly. I saw him at the studio of, what is he called? Perry? Perry Taylor. Now, I don't know. Is that part of state visit? Oh, he went for tour. You guys, you will need to make me understand. Okay, Tuni Muhamuda, asante sana. Karibu kwa show. William Wadilo, karibu kwa show. Asante sana. Bana, karibu kwa show. Nashukuru tu sana. Na Favor ndio huyo. Karibu kwa show. Asante sana. Ubuntu Tadaetu, karibu kwa show. Asante kwa kufika. I appreciate Penny Nyagaka. Hello to you. Karibu kwa show. Nani huyu mwingine? Freedom say, of course, Ruto is to blame for the collapse of education. He's living an extravagant lifestyle. He's done nothing to improve education system in Kenya. Exactly. That is what we told people here when we are decampaigning William Ruto. We said, William Ruto said, sababu ya serikali, okay, ni kuitumia kutatua matatizo ulio nayo. So we interpreted that very clearly. If somebody thinks that getting government is so that you use it to solve your problem, then to him, he doesn't see government as a responsibility that he needs to offer to the wananchi. He looks at government as something to use. And is that mentality, what we used to say, kama gari ni ya GK ni ya bure, kama nini ofisi ni ya GK ni ya bure, kama printer ni ya GK ni ya bure. Government of Kenya things are for free. So to him, the things for the government are supposed to be used anyhow. And, it's funny. And so we'll be diving into this. And I really want us to be candid on this one. Because what we are being treated to as Kenyans is really an insult to our intelligence. Okay? That somebody, charters a private jet. Okay, and that private jet is being paid for by the taxpayers. He goes around, okay, and then we don't even, now I'm sure the parliament is not going to discuss this, okay, but if we had a viable parliament, somebody should rise on the floor of the house and demand, how much did it cost in this trip? How much are we getting back from this trip? How much businesses are coming in? How many investors did we achieve? We carried over 200. Who carries 200 people to go, over 200 people to go and tour America? And you know how expensive it is to keep, an individual in a hotel in the US for almost 10 days? And then you've carried over 240 people to go and kujibarizi. And then later on, you will come and say, it is Uhuru Kenyatta who borrowed. It is the other government that gave us empty coffers. These empty coffers do this kind of things that William Ruto is doing. Well, I don't want to get worked up, but this is not what we bargained for. And as Kenyans, something needs to happen to us. This thing, it ought not to happen. It ought not to be happening. At 300 students, 300,000 Form 1s did not report. And now 600,000 university eligible whatever students did not apply. Why? Because of the economic situation. And then somebody is loitering around, putting on, well, let me not talk too much. All the same, thank you, everybody. Please, let's be on the forefront. Thank you for those numbers that are rising of people joining. Let's take charge. Sound Candy Talk Live, 30 people. Sound Candy Talk, 46 people. Appreciate XX Melala. Amkeni watu wa X mara moja tukaangalie masuala moja kwa moja. Nashukuru tu sana kwa kila moja ambaye amefika. Naomba tuanze tu na hiyo story ya 600 wherever 1,000 students are missing out on the university education courtesy of William Ruto and his mismanagement. And then, of course, they express denial by the US about what they claimed that the US is sponsoring the trip. They are not paying anybody's bill, especially let me just swallow that.
So more than 600,000 students who qualified for placement in institutions of higher learning did not apply for any of the slots available this year. The Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service says only 153,000 students have been placed in private and public universities, while 11,000 students who qualified for degree courses have opted to study diploma courses. Brenda Wanga now reports that students who wish to change their courses will be able to do so from early June.
The Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service release of this year's placement of students into institutions of higher learning came at the tail end of what started out as a tumultuous exercise in February, when the agency ran into headwinds as it implemented the new online selection process for students.
So it was quite a rough time, the first 2 weeks, but we were able to get a lot of assistance from the Ministry of ICT.
When the system challenges had been finished and the 3 application cycles completed, a total of 258,935 students out of a possible 895,000 had been placed. Of this, 157,274 are set to join public and private universities. 75,718 will pursue their education in public and private TVETs, while 10,263 will train as either primary or secondary school teachers. For the first time, the Kenya Medical Training College also had KUPS place students for this year's calendar, with a total of 19,653 students joining. Over 600,000 students who qualified didn't apply for placement through KUPS.
Application to both universities and colleges is a choice. It is not mandatory, because we know there are students who choose to go abroad, to join the military, to join other universities and colleges that are not under the government program.
The students placed representing a drop in the ocean when compared to the available capacities in the different categories of higher learning institutions that this year stood at 1.07 million places spread across the universities, TVETs, TTCs and KMTC.
The KUPS placement process gives special consideration to eligible applicants on account of gender, marginalized and minority, and also the aspect of disability.
This year, KUPS says it aligned its placement criteria and subject clustering for the Bachelor of Education course by dropping mathematics and English as mandatory requirements. And the impact of this has been an increase in the number of students choosing this course.
So when we removed this, we saw a lot of students apply for that. I think it has the highest. We have, I think, over 30,000. Over 30,000 students have gone in to pursue education.
At the same time, KUPS say male students continue to dominate placement into degree programs, while female students were the majority of those placed in TVETs. Students who are dissatisfied with their placement will have a chance to apply for transfers from the 5th of June this year. At the same time, those who have been placed in universities and colleges have been encouraged to apply for funding from the Higher Education Funds Board in good time to enable them be ready for admission later this year. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
Okay, mambo ni kama hayo wa masomo. Hali ya masomo katika nchi iko katika utata kwa sababu haiendi ipasavyo. Wakenya, nataka kusikia maoni yenu, na katika hiyo hali naomba pia tulete hii ya Amerika alafu tuanze mjadala moja kwa moja. Natumai Otete uko ready, na muona Wangira ako ready. Na wale wengine wote mnaingia studio, tafadhali fanya hima.
Our sign language interpreter Damien Evans. The United States Embassy in Nairobi has clarified that it did not pay for the private jet that transported President William Ruto and his entourage to the US for the ongoing state visit at a conservative bill of about 200 million shillings. The cost of the president's travel to the US is now raising political heat, with one Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya coalition leaders calling for the formation of a special committee to probe the government's expenditure. The opposition has also questioned the size of the delegation that accompanied the president to the USA, saying it added unnecessary costs. KTN's political affairs reporter Emmanuel Tor starts our bulletin with that story.
Hours after KTN News highlighted how President William Ruto spent over 200 million shillings to hire a royal jet from Abu Dhabi, UAE to move him to the United States of America for the 4-day state visit, the US Embassy here in Nairobi has distanced itself from footing the bill of hiring the Boeing business jet, which cost the taxpayer about 2.5 million shillings per hour. In a statement shared with KTN News, the spokesperson Andrew Viveiros said the US did not have anything to do with the cost associated with the jet used by the president. Ruto, who landed in Atlanta, Georgia Monday evening, was also accompanied by a host of a delegation, including an advance team, which has raised the number of high-ranking officials on the trip. Although State House has now unveiled the flight manifest of the delegation, pictures shared by President William Ruto show a huge number of leaders and content creators who accompanied him on the 4-day trip. These include the Prime CS and CS for Foreign Affairs Musalia Mudavadi, Health CS Susan Nakhumicha, Council of Governors Chairperson Anne Waiguru, Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga, Machakos Governor Wavinya Ndeti, blogger Dennis Itumbi, among others. A delegation of content creators is also accompanying the president to showcase the activities in Atlanta and have been camping there as they await the president's visit to Tyler Perry Studios for the agenda on the creative economy. This comes as the opposition called for a speedy investigation into the trip with an explanation as to how much the total cost of the trip was.
Tunataka kamati maalum iweze kuwekwa katika bunge ili kuchunguza hii matumizi ama ile expenditure ambayo ilitumika kukodisha hii ndege.
I want to move and ask my fellow leaders in the Senate and in the National Assembly to launch an inquiry into the Asla Jet Season 2 to find out who approved this expenditure.
Kenya very proudly just a few years ago launched direct flights from Nairobi to New York, flying directly into JFK by our national carrier, Kenya Airways. We are very proud of that airline. I don't know why the president would not take advantage of that direct flight to fly into JFK.
The leaders calling out the Kenya Kwanza administration for preaching water and drinking wine.
Ni kwamba kulikuwa na mfumo ule ambao wa kusomesha watoto na kuwalisha. Unaona sasa hivi sasa hiyo imeondolewa.
We were being told the other day that the deputy president is scheduled to spend 600 million Kenyan shillings to repair a building that was, or a residence that was built using only 400 million shillings.
I want to challenge him now to refund that money to the Treasury because that was unnecessary. It is completely an unnecessary expenditure.
This is the second time President William Ruto is finding himself in the crosshairs. 11 years ago, a special committee led by the then Budalangi MP Ababu Namwamba began proceedings to ascertain how Ruto, a deputy president then, hired a Bombardier 850 Challenger for 100 million shillings for a shuttle diplomacy across the continent. Back then, a top cartoonist, Gado, depicted how Ruto valued his luxury without minding about the burden he was putting on Kenyans in the expensive jet. A current jet in question, fitted with 10 auxiliary tanks, went into commercial use about 9 years ago. This particular one, used by President Ruto and his team, is configured for day travel at 34 seats, 8 of them VIP, 8 business and 18 standard, and it also has an executive bedroom. Emmanuel Tor, KTN News, Nairobi.
The president is very, very busy in America, where he has asked Kenyans to stop complaining.
Haya, mambo ni kama hayo. Nashukuru kila mmoja. Bwana Otete, uko ready?
Nakusikia lakini sikuoni.
Ndio nashindwa kamera umefanyaje, lakini nakusikia. Endelea. Bwana Samuel, endelea.
Bila kuonana.
Sauti imefika, endelea tu ama basi rekebisha mashini yako alafu tarudi. Wacha tuende kwa Wangira. Mr. Wangira, how are you today?
Oh, Bernard, I'm doing fine. How are you?
Getting better, thank you.
You know, you seem to be surprised. Some of us are not.
Hey.
You know, as students of history, some of us are not surprised. And if you remember what happened, you know, when immediately William Samoei Ruto became Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, when he hired that jet, you know, to go, private jet to go around African countries. And you remember that cartoon, Bernard, there was that cartoon of him enjoying himself, you know. I'm talking of a cartoon of around 11, 12 years ago. So, Bernard, it is not surprising me at all, at all. It does not surprise me at all. Bernard, yesterday, let me just visit again, especially for the advantage of our viewers this evening. I told you about Wabezi. And I told you the characteristic of Wabezi include people of a class of their own. Bernard, you must agree with me that William Samoei Ruto is a person of his own class. Because we have been told that this particular jet has what we call an executive bedroom. Bernard, I don't know whether the bedroom you have at home is executive. I don't know. Perhaps tell me. Because me, I sleep in an ordinary bedroom. We are being told here that this gentleman, Bernard, you know, his bedroom, you know, that jet had an executive bedroom. So I wonder, you know, I was watching him on YouTube, and in one of his sessions in America, and, you know, he was purporting, you know, to be sleepy and also hungry. And I was wondering, how can you fly such a jet and end up being sleepy and hungry when the jet could have afforded, when the jet was affording you what we are now being told to be an executive bedroom, Bernard? And you know, where there's an executive bedroom, all other things also follow, which means even the standard of meals that are being served on that jet, Bernard, must be high class meals, Bernard. So William Samoei Ruto is a demonstration of an African Mubezi. He's a demonstration, and you know, being an African Mubezi, Bernard, you don't expect the United States of America, Bernard, to foot a bill for an African Mubezi. Bernard, let me give you a scenario. You know, there are these people who you'll always find whenever you meet them, they'll be talking big, how they drive big cars, you know, how they live in posh estates, Bernard, you know, how their kids go to good schools, Bernard. So if you have such a friend, Bernard, can you foot a bill of such a friend who's already telling you that he's doing well? So how do you expect the United States of America to foot a bill for President William Ruto, who is already doing well? You know, look at even his delegation, the people he has carried to United States of America, Wakina Butita here, Wakina Itumbi. I don't know what value they are going to add into this particular visit. And Bernard, what caught my eyes, Bernard, was a reply by a gentleman who is a friend of mine called Isaac Mwaura. Isaac Mwaura, Bernard, is the government spokesperson, and he has been my friend on Facebook for many, many years. You know, he was asked a very simple question by, he was in a public audience, and, somebody wanted, to know, the cost of President William Samoei Ruto's travel to the United States of America. And I hope you'll be interested to know, how Isaac Mwaura, replied back. This is how he replied back, and let me quote verbatim how he replied back. He said, wewe unauliza maswali hayo, haya maswali ni ya kiupuzi, haya maswali ni ya kiupuzi. Shindwa wewe, ibilizi, pepo mbaya. Have you gotten those words? Wewe unauliza maswali hayo, haya maswali ni ya kiupuzi. Shindwa wewe, ibilizi, pepo mbaya. So Bernard, even some of us on this particular platform that are questioning, some of these things according to Isaac Waura, perhaps, we are pepo mbaya, we are ibilizi, we are supposed to kushindwa Bernard. Kushindwa Bernard. But it's funny, I've read a tweet by Miguna here, here, and of late I've come to like Miguna. Of late I've come to ask Miguna, to like Miguna, because Miguna was asking that if indeed America was interested to support Kenya being a third world country, Bernard, then do we need to have President William Ruto traveling to United States? Do we really need him to travel to United States? Because if you want to help, you just help. We don't need William Ruto to be traveling to United States. That's according to Miguna. And especially given that our country is a third world country. Our country is a third world country. So he was wondering, in fact, this is what he wrote, Miguna, that leaders of African countries like Kenya must not waste billions of shillings, money we need to build factories and create employment on unnecessary frequent foreign trips. That's what Miguna was raising. And he said that if the United States and the so-called developed countries are genuine about their support for us, then their leaders, just give me a minute, then their leaders would travel to Africa. Then their leaders would travel to Africa and spend their wealth in our hotels, beaches, and programs in the process that will economically empower Africa. Bernard, the person who should be traveling to Africa is Joe Biden, so that he can spend a few of the knowledge in Africa. Not William Samoei Ruto traveling to the United States to spend the little resources that we have here. That's what Miguna is saying. And I'm in agreement with Miguna fully. And he raised a very crucial question, because he was asking how much have you seen foreign leaders spend in Africa and Kenya in particular in the last 10 years? How many? For example, I think it's only President Obama who visited Kenya after a very, very long time and as a sitting president. After a very, very long time. These people don't just, go randering, Bernard. These Wazungu presidents don't go randering. But you have African leaders, Bernard, who will take every advantage of any opportunity to go kuranda. What President William Ruto is doing in the United States of America, Bernard, the kuranda, because I've not seen anything of essence visiting Steve Harvey, Bernard. Do we need a president to go to visit, traveling to United States of America to visit the studio of Steve Harvey, Bernard? Do we need a president to do that, Bernard? At our expense, do we need him doing that, Bernard? No wonder, President Uhuru Kenyatta was right, when he coined the word Tanga-Tanga. Because now what we are seeing is, real Tanga-Tanga. And even if you look at the delegation, that is accompanying him, Bernard. And at a time, that this country is going through a lot. Bernard, you have raised this issue of 600,000 students who qualified to join either university or colleges and have not applied. Ask yourself, why are they not applied, Bernard? If I've qualified to join a college, or if I qualified to join the university and I've not applied, then there must be a real reason why. And the major reason could be that, I know that even if I apply, Bernard, I'll not get resources to take me to university. So, because of the poverty in this country, Bernard, there are people who see that even if I pass by KCSE examination, and, most of them struggle, Bernard, many of them who even finish Form 4 with arrears of 70,000, 80,000, 60,000. So, you know, if you are finishing Form 4 with those arrears and you have passed, and there's an opportunity to apply to join a university or a TVET, and, you know, down your heart, you know very well that you cannot afford it. You know, why waste time? Why waste time? And that's the reason why, Bernard, many young people did not apply. You know, this number is big. And it's you who brought up the issue of, you know, when students, you know, were joining Form 1 this year. You remember? We have quite a number of them. I think it was up to 300,000, Bernard, who never reported to Form 1. So, we are keeping on wasting young people. You know, you finish standard 8, that becomes the end of it. You finish Form 4, that becomes the end of it. Then we are wasting, you know, the life of these young people, you know. As you know, our leaders enjoy themselves, Bernard. And as our leaders keep on enjoying themselves, Bernard. So it's a very, very unfortunate thing. Very, 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 very unfortunate. But so long as we have Mubezi, Bernard, so long as we have Mubezi in the name of our leader in this country, Bernard, you know, I don't see anything changing. Because, you know, after he comes back from United States and perhaps he's invited to Japan or he is invited to UK, Bernard, I think he'll be jumping on the next plane to Japan or to US, Bernard, because perhaps that's what he knows how to do best. Oh, let me just leave it at that, and, you know, and perhaps I allow somebody else to come in.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wangira. We appreciate that overview. Ladies and gentlemen, as we engage, we are calling upon you, please, to be objective and remain focused. Namuona mtu hapa anaitwa Henry Onzarigo. That name sounds familiar. Anasema, you're reasoning like a moron. You got to market your country. Think outside the box. Onzarigo, I don't know, what are you marketing Kenya for? Floods? Is it floods and what else? Floods,
Bernard,
school
Bernard,
dropouts, and
Bernard, why can't you invite him? Or why can't you invite him for a one-on-one? You know, instead of throwing comments down there, invite him for a one-on-one. It will be much better that way.
He's hearing you. So if Onzarigo, you can come on the studio. Use that link, come and defend your side of the story. But your comment, I'm not taking them kindly. And secondly, we only market what is available. You cannot go to market Marigiti when there are no products on the market. Okay, what are we marketing? That our expressway is flooded, that our children are being carried, that our bridges have been carried. Is that the marketing you're going to take to Kenya? Huh? I mean, to the rest of the world. Or what are we marketing? Forests. Oh, the program you started of planting tree, you have a holiday, a new holiday for planting trees. You are not serious. I am calling upon us, especially you younger Kenyans, begin to think properly. Look at this country in 50 years. Look at this country in 20 years. If we continue like this, 300,000 have not gone to Form 1. 600,000 have not bothered to apply for university. And then you are reasoning the way you are reasoning that your president has hired a private jet to go and market what? Empty schools, empty classes. What is he marketing? He has carried comedians. He calls them content creators. Now, we create content for America. Now they have gone to America to do what? To learn to create content? Now, you people kind of, I have no problem, but things that need to be done in order and in decency. And we as the people, we need to hold the government to account, not to be sycophants that you have gone to market Kenya. What is in this country that needs to be marketed? Just show me one thing that William Ruto has done that needs to be marketed, that the world can come in Kenya to see. What are they coming to see? Nairobi on the boats. People are moving from house to on boats. That's what he has gone to market? No, please. Let's not be that naive to that extent. I really want younger Kenyans to begin to look at this country. And I've always reminded you, history has it. The people that fought for the independence of this country are not old people. The Haritukus we talk about that led into the rebellion against the colonial government, they were in their late 20s, early 30s. They were young people, but they thought seriously about their country and took responsibility about the future of their country. And you're old enough to be, and you're talking about marketing? Marketing what? Masai dress. Does that need a presidential private jet to go and market Masai Kiondo and the rest? In fact, Kiondo has better market in the America already. In fact, it's been taken over by another wherever. It's no longer even a Kenyan issue anymore. So tafadhali, mtu asikuja hapa kututukana. Na kama una la kusema sio lazima uliseme hapa. Lazima tuweke wazi kabisa, inji hii inahitaji ukombozi, na ugonjwa wa kwanza wa inji hii unaitwa William Ruto. Is the one and only disease that needs to be cured, because only a madman will go to hire a private jet for 2 million Kenya shillings per hour for almost 10 days. I want you to do that mathematics, okay? 2 million shillings per hour for 10 days.
Bernard, is not 10 days. The visit is only 4 days. 4 days.
No, the plane came here a day earlier. The moment you hire a vehicle going to Budalang, do they begin to count hours when you begin to go to Budalang? The moment you drive the vehicle from the parking of the company, the hours begin to count. Okay? So it came here a day earlier. Okay? Then it's going to go for 4 days. Then it's going to come back here. So we are talking about a minimum of 7 days or 6 days. Okay? These 6 days multiplied by 24, multiplied by 2 million. So how much is that? And all of that is what? Going to tell America that what? We are Kenya? I mean, there's Google. Americans can get anything about Kenya on Google. So whatever we are attempting to do and trying to justify here, it's unjustifiable by all standards. What we have is a madman. A madman. He does not envision and understand the gravity of the problems Kenyans are faced with. He does not see the problem of 300 children not going to Form 1. He does not see the problem of 600 students not applying for university. That means their morale is already cut. Their passion for life is already cut. They have given up. Now, if the university-going students have given up on life, okay, and then the Form 1s are not reporting, and then you are comfortable dragging your wife around in a private jet to go and show America what? What private jet has America not seen? Something is wrong, and we must fix it. And all Kenyans who are thinking right, we better begin to think seriously, right, and loudly. Bwana Otete, just a moment, Mr. Wangira. Tumfungulie Otete kwanza, atusalimia alafu atarejea. Samuel, are you there?
Richard, habari yako?
Niko salama, karibu.
Mimi najaribu kutafuta bwana, inakuwa shida kukupata tena.
Nimerudi, karibu.
Habari zenu nyote, mimi naona akina kwa mwenzako hapo, mimi naona anang'ang'ana kweli.
Anaitwa Wangira.
Wangira, bora ndo wazi. Salama sana. Anyway,
wagira ni mwana wefwe.
Waingo. Sasa Richard, tuko na shida Kenya ile hatujawahi kuona. Mimi tangu mwanzo nimejaribu kukataa mambo ya president wetu huyo Ruto. Hebu imagine tuko na ndege yetu hapa ambao president marehemu retired ambao ni mzee Moi alinunua. Hakuna wakati ulikuwa unaona Moi akienda na ndege nyingine japokuwa hiyo. Sasa hii watu yote amebeba wakienda Amerika ambao wangetoshea kwa ndege yetu. Really, tunajiuliza sisi wa Kenya, where are we heading? Tuko na wanafunzi 600 wangeingia university, hawataingia. From 300,000 hawataingia. Ruto anakasana tax day after day, tax day after kuongeza. Now where are we heading? Mimi nimesema hakuna njia nyingine tunaweza kufaulu kuhusu president wetu. The only way forward, revolution is the only way. Huyu jamaa ajali hataki kujua the common man. Sasa okay, member of parliament, junior governors wale amebeba, wengine hawana hata kazi ya kwenda kufanya, yaani wameenda tu. Sasa na mnasema tuko na president. What kind of president is this? American wamekataa, wamesema sio hao watalibia Kenya hiyo ndege. Sasa mimi naona nijaribu kusupport hii watu ya Mount Kenya, tuone kama tutafaulu hii revolution, because President Ruto hakuna kitu atasaidia Kenya. Wacha niambie hii kitu, wacha iwe open kwa Kenya. Hakuna wakati President Ruto atatusaidia ama atainua uchumi. Huyu ni mtu ni kusikonda. Anahakikisha amekula hiyo pesa sawa. Okay, since he came to power, ni project gani inaendelea? Hakuna project amefanya hata moja. Watu wetu wanakufa maji, hata kutoa msaada na iko pesa imetengewa hiyo emergency fund. Hakuna hakutoa hiyo pesa. Na unajua hiyo pesa tayari imetolewa kwa emergency fund, imeingia kwa mfuko yake. Alafu unasema tuko na president. Hatuna president. Kenya inaendeshwa na autopilot. Mungu tu ndiye anatusaidia na anatushikilia. Because huyu jamaa yeye anahakikisha amekula zile pesa zake zote ametumia. Ulikuwa unaona ananunulia mapasta magari, anamwaga pesa kwa kanisa. Hizo pesa ndio unaona anajaribu kuongeza kwa tax day after day, tax day after day. Sasa is looking for money ndio aanze tayari. Unajua ameanza campaign, na kama ameanza campaign hakuna project yote atafanya Ruto. Ngoja atatoka Amerika, ako hapa Amerika, akikuja anaanza kupiga mdomo. Hakuna kitu atafanya, ati atatufanyia Wakenya ati maendeleo. The only way forward is just a revolution, tutoe hiyo jamaa na ndio hii Kenya tuone kama tutainua uchumi. Otherwise Ruto hakuna kitu atatufanyia. Ruto anazidi kuua watu na njaa. Okay, hebu kumbuka wanafunzi walikuwa wanakula chakula ile lunch, free lunch. Unajua hiyo yote amekata, hakuna chakula. Na hebu imagine hiyo pesa ametumia ya siku hiyo ine anaenda kutumia Amerika. It is going to exceed more than hiyo 200 something million. hata itaenda 500,000 milioni, na watu wanakufa njaa. Watoto wetu kwa shule ile chakula walikuwa wanakula hakuna, na tuko proud, tuko na president. What kind of president is this? Hebu tujaribu kuwa open na tuambie wa Kenya tupige nduru tuone kama tutasaidia hii Kenya, because Kenya imerudi zero. Taxi ndio hiyo imeenda juu, lakini hiyo pesa ina mahali inaingia hutaona, hakuna project. Barabara zile Kenyatta alijenga ndio anajaribu kufungua, na he is doing nothing. Hebu tujaribu kuangalia, hebu tupige nduru na tusupport watu wa Mount Kenya. Mimi naona watu ya Mount Kenya sasa wame realize that kwamba walifanya makosa kusupport yeye. Sasa Wakikuyu na kuambia hawatarudi nyuma. So far vile nimewaona wako sawa sawa, na mimi naungana na hiyo mambo ya 1 shilling 1 pop hiyo. Mimi nataka wakasane kabisa, ngawa tulikuwa tunasema Rigathi alikuwa mtu mbaya, lakini mimi naona ameingia kwa system ya kung'oa Ruto, na Rigathi akishikilia Mount Kenya vizuri nani Ruto hata toboa. Mahali tunaelekea sasa, mambo hapana mbaya, na Wakikuyu sasa wamerejea rais. Otherwise hiyo ndio mimi naona, mimi tu nalilia wa Kenya yetu. Thank you very much, Richard.
Okay, asante sana Bwana Samuel, appreciate that. Tunashukuru, tutashikilia hapo mpaka tukafaulu kutekeleza wajibu wetu kama Wakenya wazalendo, na kukaribisha mahala pote ulipo. Tafadhali usikae mbali, endelea kukaribisha mtu, na kama hujapiga kura yako, piga kura yako, like video. Watu wa X mna let down, sioni mnamba ikiongezeka, tafadhali jitahidi. TikTok chafua hiyo screen na likes nione, alafu share hiyo live, share live ili kila mmoja akaingia akasikilize vile Wakenya wana ongea masuala ya kuhusu nchi yao. William Ruto amefunga safari kwenda Amerika, huku masomo yamekwama, chakula yani umeshindwa kulisha watoto wa primary, na sio nchi nzima, semi-arid areas. It's just a section. You can't feed ordinary primary school kids. It has defeated you, but you can afford private jet to roam. Hapana. Wakenya hata kama sisi ndio wavumilivu, hiyo uvumilivu ikatike. Bwana Wangira, what were you saying before we bring Reverend Lala?
Okay, just give me 1 minute. I just say something. Then I was just looking at BBC News Africa on their page on X, and you know they are saying Kenya's president is under scrutiny over the cost of his US visit. Luxury jet hire has been estimated at USD 1.5 million amidst austerity measures and public outcry. Then there's something that they are raising here. They are saying that the government of Kenya has defended the trip, but they're asking, have Ruto's reasons won over critics? So they're asking whether his reasons of hiring this luxury jet, whether they have won over critics. And you know, the critics include myself. And then, you know, going down there, you know, they are quoting, you know, what this 210 million, which is equivalent of 1.5 million US dollars can do. They say it can hire, Bernard, 1,110 intern teachers for 1 full year. 1,110 intern teachers for 1 full year. And they're saying that this issue is coming at a time where 1.6 million infants and mothers, you know, are already in danger of missing on their vaccines, Bernard. And one man is just spending 210 million shillings in 4 days. Oh, finally, Bernard, looking at the question, the way it has been raised, by the BBC News Africa, I can just describe, William Samoei Ruto in the words of this guy who wrote the book Animals Farm, called George Orwell. George Orwell says that man serves interests of no creature except self. So William Ruto does not serve any interest of any other person. It does not serve your interest. It does not serve my interest. William Samoei Ruto is only serving his personal interest. And, let me just leave it at that and, allow Lala to come in. Asante.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Please, let's be on the forefront to invite each other. We must engage and learn what needs to be learned. Bwana Empire, I want to see your face. If you could put on your camera, please. I need to see your face. Then I'll be sure of who you are. And yes, because you look familiar yet not familiar. And we are entrenched. We are endangered. Huh? There are some people come here and misbehave. So just where you are, before we put you on the screen, I'll want to see your face on camera. I don't have. How is that? Have you been in our show before? When in Kenya? Reverend Lala, just come in. Okay, so hold on, then we will add you to the screen shortly. Reverend Lala, just take the show, please. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Your audio seems not to be present. Reverend Lala, just organize your audio. Organize your audio. It's not coming through. You can leave and then get back. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Bwana Empire, how are you?
I'm good. Can I speak English? My Kiswahili is not good.
No problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually wanted to defend President Ruto, and I'll make my case brief, but I believe it will be compelling. If you compare the other African countries to Kenya, what you realize is several countries have defaulted on their loans previously, on the Eurobonds. Ghana is an example. The country is bankrupt. Ethiopia is another example. They also defaulted on some treasury bonds. Kenya actually managed to be able to pay it back. Now, I understand they took more loans to pay it back, but the point is, by servicing the loans that we already have, Kenya's currency that was depreciating at an extreme level, $1 to 162 shillings at its worst, has now reduced to about $1 to 130 shillings. This gives us a far more stronger competitive advantage when it comes to trading with other countries. So the fact that President Ruto was able to do that, him and his administration, has prevented Kenya for being targeted as just any other African country. It means that we can still get loans if we need to. It means we can still get foreign direct investment from other people, which is what's happening to the country right now. And I believe, if we focus on the, peanuts, right? $1 million is peanuts, right? The main thing was the economy that had billions of dollars in debt, right? We're talking about peanuts here. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? And one more point. I want all of you guys to go research something called the Euro-dollar system. I've done many shows on this, but I believe once we all have this understanding, we can truly gauge how economics functions, right? So when Kenya's GDP claimed that we're making $120 billion a year, that's not true. Or whatever shillings that they say, billions of shillings, it's not true. Our economy is actually only making $5 billion. Why? Because our currency is useless in the international market. Meaning the only money that matters is the money we get from tourism, the money that we get from loans, and the money that we get from the diaspora sending back money back home. Now, So what that basically means is we are stunted. If we want to go and let's say we want to industrialize, buy machines so that we can create a product with added value, so we can export it to get more dollars so that we can buy more machines, we can't do that unless we focus on these key sectors that actually create euro dollars. The Kenyan shilling market, internal market, this is just a game the banks and the government play. So they don't really matter at all. Now, for this money that they claim President Ruto spent hiring this private jet, now if he hired it from a Kenyan, that's even irrelevant. It's actually free. If he hired it from Westerners, now then he's actually doing bad because he's using our euro dollars instead of keeping those euro dollars for internal use. So I would like everyone to go search Eurodollar system, how Africa is kept behind through post-neocolonialism.
Okay, thank you. There's a question for you. Just hold on. Yes, Mr. Wangir.
Oh, thank you, Bernard. Unfortunately, I'll be asking a question of a person whose face I cannot see. But nevertheless, I'll still ask my question. You told us that you are defending President William Ruto. Our topic of the day today, is this expenditure of 200 million shillings at a time when this country is talking about austerity measures. So what do you mean by defending President William Ruto in this expenditure of 200 million shillings?
Money, right? It's peanuts. And let me explain what I mean by that. Our president's security is at the utmost of importance when it comes to our nation. He's the nation's representative head. If he can't, do you want him to do what he did when he went to the Queen's the Queen's burial squeezed in a bus like a sardine with other African presidents? No, we need to show force of power. How you present yourself is very important in this world. And actually, the business deals that he's able to gauge from actually meeting with powerful Americans right now and the Black Americans, he went to Atlanta. By forging trade with these people, that 200 million shillings that you believe is used, that peanuts, will be returned back 100-fold.
Okay, when Empire, I really love your courage. Just hold on to Mr. Wangira. You told us that William Ruto has succeeded to pay the Euro bond. Do you have evidence to that effect? Secondly, on the issue of the dollar strengthening, okay? For the dollar to strengthen and there is no increase in export whatsoever, our coffee is doing poorly, our tea is doing poorly, our even Mira is not even going out. So this dollar improving, is it not as a result of going to borrow another Eurobond? So is that an economic sense that we can celebrate William Ruto for? That after the dollar has gotten a bidding because of borrowing, you claimed the Uhuru Kenyatta borrowed, that is why the dollar is ailing. Then you go and borrow more to come and stuck in the central bank to pop up the dollar. I mean the shilling, to deceive Kenyans that the dollar has improved when it is artificial. And then you're saying that William Ruto's extravagant expenditure is peanuts when we are reporting here that 600,000 students who are qualified to go to the university did not even apply. They are eligible, they did not apply. The 300,000 students who are to go to Form 1 did not report to Form 1. The semi-arid students, primary school kids who are on the feeding program by the government has withdrawn that service because they say there is no money. So you can't feed primary school kids. You can't ensure that institutions of higher learning are working. You can't secure Form 1 education, secondary education. You can't secure our mother giving birth to life, Linda Mama, the insurance for mothers giving birth to life that was instituted and run by Uhuru Kenyatta for 10 years has been withdrawn. And then you tell us that William Ruto has his priorities right. He has gone to Atlanta to bring us investors to come and invest in what? Mr. Wangira?
Oh, you know, I would have loved to see the face of this gentleman. I don't know why he's hiding it. But
No,
again,
he said his camera is bad. His camera is bad. So let's just engage you.
I'll still proceed, Bernard. In a country where our last budget was, I think, 3.5 trillion, a big chunk of it which was borrowed money. Has he gone? Has he left?
I'm here.
No, he's here. He's here. Just go ahead.
For our last budget was 3.5 trillion, a big chunk of it which was borrowed money. For you to purport that 200 million shillings that is being blown in only 4 days is peanuts. Gentlemen, are you not spitting on the poor people of the Republic of Kenya?
There's nothing gentle about him. Do not refer to him as a gentleman. He's a disgrace to any Kenyan, if indeed he's Kenyan. Paul Ndakuja.
Please explain yourself.
Take it easy, Maunga. Hold on, take it easy. Let's have some order, please. So, Wangira,
has he gotten my question, Bernard?
Yes, I hope so. Mr. Empire.
Amelipata. Have you gotten my question?
Mr. Empire, and unmute and speak up. We can't hear you.
Bernard, can I go before he can respond to anything?
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Sorry.
No, it's important, Bernard, that he responds. Allow him to respond to me.
Order. Sasa mko karibu kunini kuharibu mambo. Mr. Wangira, you asked your question. Empire, did you understand Mr. Wangira's question? Confirm, please.
Please repeat it. Please.
Okay, for that reason, Wangira, you can hold on to that question. Let me just, sadly, today I will not say good evening to anyone. There's nothing good about the fact that a woman's womb was able to bear something that can reason like this. It's a good thing he's put that caricature on the screen, so at least it's proof that his mind is as bogged as that thing on the screen that represents him. The truth is as follows, yeah? It's a good thing you're speaking with an accent. So you do not have the liberty to be on this soil and on this land.
I'm in Nairobi. I live in Nairobi, my brother.
Exactly.
I live in my country.
When you live in Nairobi with such a skewed mind, believe me, you are a sorry excuse of anything that a woman birthed as a mockery of the title a child.
So we're discussing.
You have absolutely no business. Listen, you have absolutely no business calling 200 million of money that is highly taxed from some of us. Do you know there are jobs I do, and when at least an episode does not get to the threshold where they can deduct anything, I am grateful. I'd rather work less, just so that a deduction isn't made, so that it goes to thieves who you think should remain alive. In fact, I hope he dies. And I hope, by the way, that he is slaughtered like chicken in front of our faces. I hope he's so insecure that even tomorrow breathing becomes something that is impossible, so he doesn't rise up tomorrow. That is the only way Kenya will be safe. So by the time you're telling us that the sorriest disgrace in the title of someone called president, who's coming to interfere with policy for the lives of children who will long outlive him, after he has stolen and shredded this country to its knees and the country has lost any grace that it ever possessed. He is trying to make our children illiterate. He's trying to make them famished. He's trying to feed them on poison because he can literally sell everyone. Then right now he's taking people to be slaughtered in Haiti because he can get money. Then you bloody come and tell us here that 200 million is peanuts. It is 200 million of money that is deducted from some of us, including children who slept hungry tonight. And some of them are going to die in hospitals just because we cannot get enough medication because we do not have systems at work. So before you can come here and insult Kenyans by telling us that 200 million is peanuts because a rat who had absolutely no business being called a human being, let alone rising to the echelons of being someone as powerful as president, who makes policy for this country for generations to come, will suffer as a result of that sorry excuse of a rat of a human being. If you can come and defend that 200 million, that is part of money that was gotten out of money that I sweated for, is peanuts to save the life of that rat who has no business living. You are such a sorry excuse of the title a human being. Your mom angeza scones akunywe nayo chai. You are useless to Kenya.
Take it easy, Maunga. Wangira, clarify your question, please, so that the Empire can respond at once.
Okay, I'll try not to be emotional like my sister. You know,
I remain emotional, Wangira. The one thing about me, do not ever refer to me as emotional. The fact that I'm a woman, I am entitled to be emotional. Can I explain to you why? Because my blood has gone on this soil to earn me the right. I will never apologize for being emotional. I will remain emotional.
You are not apologizing for it. Take it easy. Thank you. Mr. Wangira, please go straight to the question.
Thank you. Sorry for provoking my sister. Sorry, I apologize. Anyway, to my question. My question was very, very basic. You know, I was using, the estimates of last financial year, which is coming out, the present financial year, which is coming to an end at the end of July this year, where our budget was 3.5 trillion shillings. And, a big chunk of this budget was borrowed money. So if out of 3.5 trillion, a big chunk of it was borrowed money. By my brother, purporting that 2 million shillings that has been blown in 4 days is peanuts, is he not spitting on the poor people of the Republic of Kenya? That was my basic question.
Okay, Banaimba, please respond. Unmute your mic. We can't hear you. Empire, how many times are you? Okay.
We miss nothing out of him not talking, Bernard. Let's move.
Just a moment. There is some something at play here. I can see duplicate entry. Duplicate entry for Lala and duplicate entry for this Empire. So let me see.
Yeah, thank you. This is a correct one. I lost connection for a second. Let me answer my brother's question. Thank you very much, brother. The reason I call it peanut, I've given the evidence. I've posted that President Ruto secured over 680 billion shillings through his green parade across this Western world. He's been going around there making deals so that he can get money into Kenya. And this billion shillings is in what I said dollars, not in fake money from you guys call shillings. It's actual dollars, right? So that will help the Kenyan economy by giving the central bank enough money to facilitate trade. So it wasn't, the reduction of the shilling wasn't purely because of the borrowing. Actually, a lot of it was because of the influx of foreign direct investment in these green projects that he secured at least over 4.8 billion actual dollars. So that's helping out the economy and facilitating trade. And a response to my sister.
Green projects, sorry, green projects where?
Just around the country, the money will be given to startup companies for climate resilience and all those things. But remember, the government will keep that money in the dollars and they will just pay Kenyans using the fake currency called shillings. So this is good for our country. Shilling is not a real currency.
My friend, go slowly.
Okay.
On this channel, we make our main purpose of existing is to make sense of our politics and ease life for the masses. We don't confuse the masses. So William Ruto obtained $600 million?
No, 4.8 billion actual dollars. That's around 680 billion shillings. Yes.
Okay. 4 point what?
$4.8 billion.
$billion. Obtained them from where?
From his tours around the world. What he's doing now, he was able to do it in December to get that $4.8 billion. This was a big part of why the Kenyan shillings became stronger, because there was an influx of the dollars, right? This is to help in just climate responses and all those things. So this is a good thing.
So the money was given as a grant, as a loan, or as a handshake?
Okay, great question. So a lot of it is actually on projects, meaning he has to accomplish projects, right? He has to grow the trees. He has to give young men and women the money for their startup companies. However, like I said, that doesn't matter. What matters is the money is in the Central Bank of Kenya. Then the government can choose to print that fake money called shillings and give it to those young people to start up their companies. That's the main thing. The main thing is the money is in the central bank.
Bernard.
Okay, I don't understand your forex knowledge. I have some knowledge in forex, and money entering the country to that magnitude. The money entering the country to that magnitude, it will have a direct effect on the day-to-day life of Kenyans. Okay, that money you are quoting, if it entered into this economy, the cost of living will drastically drop. Businesses will begin to thrive. Mama mbogas will not be closing. Companies will not be closing. Big companies will not be winding up. So that is where the irony is. William Ruto says he has obtained this money. He has made what was straining the economy to now go easy on the economy. He tells us he has achieved this, but we have companies that are winding up still. The cost of running business in the country still rises. Himself comes out through his ministers. He's now raising what? Taxes. What he's collecting is not enough. He now wants to tax bread. He wants now to tax this and tax this. So that is the paradox. Here you have obtained money, you have brought in the country. Then you still want to chase after the money that you have not helped put in the people's pocket. So you seem to be part of the economic team of William Ruto, and would want you to help us make sense. This money you people go out there and bring, does it only affect your circle at the top there, and it is refused, like what Martin Shkuku described, that the Kibaki government eats with an apron here, so that anything falls, they bring it back? Is that the policy of Kenya Kwanza, that when the money comes, as they come with their private jet, they land at Jomo Kenyatta, they carry it to State House and make sure it does not go anywhere else? Because we don't see that money at Marigiti, we don't see it at the country bus, okay, because the cost of transport is the same or it is doubling. We don't see it in our schools, okay. The capitation for our students is now going at a very low rate. Like, for example, first term, they were submitting the capitation when the schools are closing. The last week of the school is when the capitation for school money is released by government. So please help us make sense. Hii pesa ilikuja kwa sababu ni ya project, haipasi kwenda mahali popote, haipasi kuaffect kitu ingine. Iliwekwa central bank kulinda shilingi na kulinda dola, ndio nini ifanyike?
Great question. I can answer it, and I want to make clear that I'm not affiliated to any political party. I'm an independent, but I want to say this, right? And thank you very much for giving us the context. Here's the issue, right? Kenya is actually on a mission to try to become one of the few African countries that add value to the production of goods. So right now we're in on an era of austerity, right? That means everybody has to suffer. Even I'm suffering, right? I make money in dollars and I live in Kenya now because
this is tiring, Aki, please do. Seriously, this is tiring, Aki.
Just a moment. Let him finish. Let him finish his point.
Right. So I make money in dollars. However, President Ruto has reduced the dollar in Kenya. This is actually causing me a lot of money. I don't have as much money as I used to have.
So we don't
but I
bloody care just as well. You disappear from Kenya because you're not useful to Kenyans anyway.
Please, order,
I hire my sister. I have a company. Yeah.
Actually, do not refer to me as your sister. I'm not. I'm a better Kenyan than you can ever be.
I employ people. I have a business. I employ.
Order, everybody. Thank you. Let's do this. Let's do this. There is something amiss here, Mr. Empire, and that is what you are saying is exactly what William Ruto says. So we are not saying you are a UDA or a member of UDA, but you share ideologies. I mean, copy paste. If I hear you well and hear William Ruto well. And since you seem to be in the flow with Ruto, that whatever Ruto makes, you understand it very well and you can articulate very well, then no doubt you must be part of what helps him make a decision. You know, every president has his own think tank, and probably you're part of that think tank. And we are happy that you came in to help us make sense of what is happening. But my problem with you is that you're just repeating, telling us what is like you're telling us what you've been told to tell us. Okay, just like his ministers go to before the committee of parliament and say exactly what they have been told to say and refuse to articulate issues based on what Kenyans are suffering, how it is relating to their day-to-day life, and their policies, how it's translating. For example, the issue of fertilizer. Okay, is that what William Ruto has gone to market Americans to come and see how fake fertilizer can work? I mean, this is too much, but let's do this. Take it easy. Take it easy. Let me ngoja Mr. Black nimekuona, ngoja kwanza. Mr. J, quickly please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bernard, and the panelists that were here. Kindly give us time. We educate this Mr. Himbaya because I think he's not a Kenyan. Like Ruto is not a Kenyan, he's an American puppet to Kenya that is embossed in Kenya.
Mimi ni American.
My friend,
hata leo bana, mimi ni Mkenya, mimi natoka huko Busia County bana.
Tafadhali watu wa Busia.
Naenda sauti yako ikae kama
hata tukileta udumani.
You're just a fake, by the way. Everything about you so fake. Watu wa Busia wasoundiki kama, by the way. They sound like me. And imagine I'm female.
Okay, order, Paunga. Let's take it easy. Let's give Mr. J first, and then we bring in Black.
You cannot come here to defend something that cannot be defendable. Ruto has become like a skunk. Wherever he walks, he smells. Wherever he goes, he scares people. So there is no way you can tell us that you are a defender, number one, to defend somebody who is not a Kenyan. That is a person who doesn't belong Kenya, my friend. He's living in Kenya like somebody who comes for vacation. So you cannot tell that because we have given him that chance to lead the country whereby he is a free man from any tax. Free man. He doesn't pay anything. We feed him. We transport him. We hire for him the private jet to go to US to seek his fathers and the children. And you are here to tell us that you are defending the person? Right now you are purporting saying that you are an imposter from Pusia, or I don't know from where you speak from. People that are crying there, they didn't get a fertilizer. And you are telling us that you are defending the same person. That 200 million, that is peanut. How much do you have in your pocket?
That
not you as call much a peanut?
I have enough. Not that much, but I have enough.
Keep quiet. When you are talking, you are not talking. Now the doctors, they are on the street for almost 60 days. 200 is a peanut. Teachers for GSS, they are on the street. That is a peanut. Huh? Right now, clinical officers, they are 56 days on the street. That is peanuts. Children in the hazard areas, they are withdrawing foods that was containing these children to all in school. Others not to go to the homes where there is nothing. That is peanut. Are you okay? Are you normal? Kindly, can you, in fact, check your psychology whether it is at a normal position?
Take it easy, Mr.
Please.
J. Easy.
No. In fact, wherever I am, I'm shedding tears because such a kind of people, they are repairing Kenya. They are not helping Kenyan anymore. They are just only smearing somebody good rations of high quality, expensive, with peanuts in their mouths and pockets. My friend, listen carefully, Mr. Mbaya. If you love your country, know that the Kenyan citizen right now we are talking about, they are scrapping. They have nothing. They are crying internally because they have spoken by words. They have told, they have even checked the person by looking. He is not being stared with the kind of agony of people from their faces. They have walked marching to his doors. He is not even scared. Now people, they have restrained. They are waiting for a time when everything will come to the right. That is the time you will know what you are defending is not defendable. Kindly, I'm requesting, let inquiry be done for how he acquired this private jet to America, because the embassy itself, they have denounced and distanced themselves that what he cheats Kenyans, that his trips are being catered by their fathers, and the fathers, they have rejected that. Please, the way he said the other time Uhuru was spending money left, right, center, let now him tell us how is acquiring that aeroplane to take him to US, while we are having the Poeng, I think it is 777 or which one, I don't know, goes to JF Kennedy International Airport in America. That is the pride of Africa. If he was a really gentleman who knows that he comes from a country called Kenya, and they have that right, and he is doing that to expand the business, he was to use that right. Even if he goes empty, because it can go lesser than the amount that is hiring that private jet. At the same time, to promote the business of the flight, that is, we were to feel happy. But don't tell us that that is a peanut is going to. Okay, we are waiting 3 days. Is going to come back. How many business is going to come with that have that amount of money? I wish I know where you are based. I will come there, my friend, so that we meet together, so that you can help me to understand how you are defending such a kind of person. Thank you, Mr. Fernand and the panelists.
Okay, thank you, Mr. J. We appreciate that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please let's keep the focus. It is good to ask right questions and demand to get right answers. We're here all seeking a solution to what is bedeviling our country. And therefore, let's not take it personal. Let's just ensure that we do the right thing. But we don't support evil here. We don't advocate for what is oppressive against the majority of the Kenyan people. And so,
Bernard,
yes,
I have
Maung,
a,
is
I
that
have,
Maunga?
yeah, I have a reaction to make. Yeah? This is someone who's actually sat and told us that 200 million of taxpayers' money, of my hard-earned money, let me speak about myself, 200 million is peanuts. He has said, my Kenya shillings is fake. What sort of answers would you be sitting here seeking from him? Honestly speaking, don't you think that is an abuse to this forum?
In economics. I have a PhD in economics. I know what I'm talking about.
I do not bloody care. Your PhDs are things that have been, by the way, nimekudharau, sikuchuki na kudharau, by the way. Mr. Mpachietha, there's nothing PhD about you. Your PhD is as useless as the papers that we usually collect on River Road. So do not tell me anything like that.
I make money,
believe me, if you do not have character, you have absolutely nothing. And right now, as it stands, you do not have character. Usually for me, character means everything. Brains is nothing. Now you have displayed that you are devoid of brains and devoid of character as well. Trust me, by the time 200 million is of taxpayers' money, you know, for Ruto to go to a toilet and use a tissue paper, it is my taxes he has to bloody use. So there's nothing important about him and all his children and everything that's submitted to him. So you with your PhD that is sounding as empty as a Korogosho Hoka over there who's never gone to any school. I don't bloody need to hear about anything you've done. The reason, if I told you the kind of economists we have, it's a no wonder Kenya is where it is right now. Believe me, the education system that I went through, by the way, is not the kind that would churn out anything of your kind claiming to have any paper, including a diploma. So trust me. By the way, it is a felony for a woman to walk claiming that she birthed something like you and refers to it as a Kenyan on the same soil as mine, and the same address that I'd make to my son. So please, do not try and insult being Kenyan. Do not. Some of us are way too patriotic. Some of us work very hard. Some of us have earned, including the kind of English I speak. My father paid for it, every bloody cent of it, and made sure that when I walk on this soil, I walk through it proudly. When I stand on any podium, both locally and globally, I stand to represent a Kenya that is actually what the dignity it deserves. You do not.
You don't sound like you live in Kenya, sister.
Okay, do not worry about it. It doesn't bloody matter. At least I do not live in Kenya.
Thank you. Please,
I do not live in Kenya, but at least I'm alive to the struggles that Kenyans do instead of
taking the
ping pong of Busia, claiming
I live in my country. My sister, I live in my country. I employ Kenyans.
Excuse me. If I put on my camera now, you'd actually know that I'm someone in the soil of this nation. So do not tell me that the nonsense, by the way. Your brain is as artificial as it can get. So there's nothing you can bloody tell me. Your mother imported you from wherever. Let her come and tell us that we do not give back to counterfeits such as yourself.
Okay, thank you. Let's do this. Empire and Maunga, take it easy. I'm going to play a video thereafter. Reverend Lala, it appears you're not sticking. I don't know what's happening, and we need your updates about the demos tomorrow. We have a few hours to the same. We will need that update. So please come in if you are still there. Let me just bring in this video, and then we pick from there. But what I want us to appreciate is our country is bigger than an individual. So we shouldn't defend an individual at the expense of our country. Look at this level of a sycophants.
William Ruto kuletea haitoshi ile mafuta ya ndege ambayo yeye ameenda nayo. Ama namna gani? Hata hii pareto inatumika sana kule Marekani. Kwa hivyo ni nyinyi wakulima ameenda kuwatafutia soko. Kwa hivyo wewe unauliza maswali hayo, hiyo maswali ya kifusi kabisa. Shindwe wewe ibilisi kwa rais ameenda kama mzee wa hii kijiji ya Kenya utafuta, alafu unauliza fare ni pesa ngapi, na akarudi na zaidi ya hiyo fare mamilioni. Hiyo si ni wale ambao hawapendi Kenya. Yeye ni rais wa kwanza ambaye ameitwa kutoka Afrika kuenda kama state visit ya rais wa Marekani Joe Biden. Na hii Kenya ni nchi ya maajabu, kwa sababu ilitoa baba mbegu yetu nzuri kama ya wakulima.
Mimi sio muumini wa masuala ya kuweka kodi kubwa, kwa sababu watu wanadhani kwamba kodi kubwa ndio pato kubwa kwa serikali. Ni kinyume chake. Kodi kubwa inapunguza wafanya biashara. watakaofanya biashara kwa kodi kubwa ni wachache, lakini tukipunguza kodi watakaofanya biashara ile ni wengi.
All right, now the Ministry of Health is blaming Treasury for the vaccine crisis in the country. The Principal Secretary in the State Department for Medical Services, Ministry of Health, Harry Kimtai, says the current shortage of vaccines being experienced across the country is as a result of a 3.6 billion shillings debt that is owed to suppliers. And as Seth Olale reports, Treasury earlier today released 1 billion shillings in a bid to resolve the crisis, which has severely affected 10 counties, with parents being forced to travel long distances to neighboring counties seeking the critical services.
Hundreds of thousands of Kenyan children continue to miss out on critical immunization following the existing shortage of life-saving vaccines that have been unavailable over the last 2 months. In an attempt to end the crisis, Treasury on Tuesday released 1 billion shillings to the Ministry of Health, which has an additional 1 billion shillings for the vaccine program. However, a deficit of 1.6 billion shillings is still needed to be injected in a revolving fund facility managed by UNICEF and Global Alliance for Vaccine and Immunization to resume the supply of the much-needed vaccines to Kenya.
So we are going to pay UNICEF and Gavi the 2 billion, and then we still have an outstanding bill of vaccines amounting to 1.6 billion. Chair, this is something that you are supposed to pay.
Appearing before the National Assembly Health Committee, Principal Secretary in the State Department for Medical Services, Harry Kimtai, reiterating that the situation will worsen unless the whole balance is settled by the first week of June in order for vaccines to start arriving in the country.
I know we have a facility, a revolving facility that if we exhaust, then they will block supply of vaccines. So we are supposed to get this money and then pay.
According to the 2023-2024 budgetary estimates tabled in Parliament by State Department for Medical Services, allocation for the vaccine program was slashed further by 750 million shillings.
So we had requested in our budget estimate, we had requested 1.2, and we realized that we needed an additional 750 million. In that year, we have a challenge of payments of the vaccines. And therefore, there was outstanding bill of about 4.6 billion. No, 3.6 billion.
10 counties are most hit, with parents forced to travel long distance to neighboring counties to seek the services. Among the counties worst hit include Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nyamira, Kilifi, Siaya, and Migori. Seth Olale, Citizen TV.
Time Kenya, and our focus is Carol Menifee, and we represent Solar Time USA, and we have a company in Kenya called Nice Solar Time Kenya, and our focus is mainly solar.
Excuse me, madam.
Uh-huh.
Your English is a bit. Can you try Kiswahili? Maybe. ama kidogo upunguze the twang imenipita kidogo. I'm sorry, I can't.
Very interested in rural development when it relates to farmers, when it relates to underdeveloped communities. Is that slow enough? You know, Just want to understand your administration's program for last mile connectivity and making sure that as Kenya develops, it doesn't leave the rural community behind.
Are you talking about electricity?
That too.
What was? What?
I don't know what to say. Mato, you are the one behind that. So are we going to begin English classes
Bernard,
or? Uh,
That was
Bernard, I
obviously
need
sad.
to react to that video. I
sorry,
need to react to that video. What he meant to do, yeah?
Ngoja Maunga, ngoja. Everybody has spoken. I want to hear Black first before anyone else. Mr. Black.
Yes, Bariako Bernard and my fellow panelists. I don't know if I'm audible enough.
Tunakupata, lakini inua sauti kidogo tu, watu wa TikTok watu wakupata.
Acha sauti, chaneke pia picha. This is Black. Now, I hope your viewers wherever you are mko poa kama kawaida na wasalimia. Now, about the trip, I'm very saddened by the budget that was brought about by the president trip to the United States, and 200 million is not small money. I wish there could have been better alternatives, which I know there are. Which najua ziko, for example, they could have taken the Kenya Airways flight. We do have direct flights, Kenya Airways. Wangeenda hata kama na first class, it would have costed much cheaper, just like a regular flyer. Now, fike US, then I think would have costed less than 200 million. Because 200 million can do a lot. Because tayari umeona kutoka from that clip which you just said that Ministry of Health, that PS, it can tie or come tie, was saying that from the budget which they had anticipated to use, that was 1.2 billion, they had underestimated what they would actually require by 750 million, which is what they have been having a hard time getting. Now you see, if 200 million can be spent on a trip, imagine if that 200 million would have been placed to reduce that deficit of 750 million for the Ministry of Health, as per the PSA. Then, as much as there is a shortage of vaccines by the fact that money has not been paid to UNICEF and Gavi,
That's
but
not
najua
how
at least
it works.
ingepunguza, just a minute, ingepunguza that deficit further from 750 to minus 200 to at least 500 million, which then could have found a way through Treasury to fund that. So I think we have misused the travel budget for the president by a very big margin. So I don't know what business we're going to get that would be that would justify that, because that would mean them would it would have to be in the billions.
I mean, you guys are intentionally obtuse, right? I presented evidence.
Order, Bwana Empire, I'll give you time to respond. We are coming to you, but we are not just talking about the 200 million. Remember, the 200 million is for hiring the jet. Okay, he has carried an entourage of over 240 Kenyans. They are living in the hotel. They are feeding. They are being transported around. So we are talking of, by the time we put all these expenditures together, it is not 200 million. We are talking about billions. After the 6 days when he returns here, it will be in billions, not millions anymore. So the 200 is just hiring the plane from Abu Dhabi to Nairobi to the US back to Nairobi. Then other expenses, that plane, there is parking fee and all those manner of expenses that are involved. So it's not what Empire is talking about, only 200 million. Mr. Black, finish your point, and then Empire can respond quickly. We move to the next item.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I mean, we could have made better use of that money. Um, Number two, you played a clip. You know, it's amazing because those clips ambazo umeplay are part of the things that I wanted to talk about. And among them is tax. And I'm glad this guy is talking here. Anasema yeye ni mtu wa icon. Glad to have met someone here. We can have a one-on-one discussion. So it's your lucky day. Um, from the finance bill 2024, right? There are things which I agree and the things that I do not agree. But the ones that I do not agree are large, they're largely more than the ones I do agree. You see, like we have the eco levy, which is a good thing, because this is taxed or levied upon products which have the tendency of messing our environment, like battery operated equipments, basically electronics, vitu kama computers, laptops. Now, most of the times, we import laptops or rather at very cheap prices ambazo zimetumika, and the ones we import Kenya kwa bei rahisi, they have a very short shelf life. So by the time someone is buying them, they'll not use them for a long time, and just after a short while, you have to dispose them, and it's very costly. You can't do that. So that will discourage us from buying these used old electronics. It will encourage kununua vitu mpya, and that's a good thing. But what I did not like about that is on the part of something like diapers. You do not place diapers at the same, as much as watu wanasema inachafua mazingira, but then again, you see, when you place eco levy on diapers, it means the cost of buying those diapers will go up. Na kwa maskini ku afford that diaper itakuwa ngumu. So what are you trying to tell them? You're trying to tell them that pengine wakate maleso, wafunge watoto na maleso as diapers. On that one, I would say it's misadvised, and I wish they would go again through the list of the eco levy products that I've placed there. On the issue of excise duty, they have placed 25% on cooking oil, vegetable cooking oil. Excise duty. You know that what would mean? That would mean the costs will go up. So wananchi watapikia nini? Costs going up because now this is directly to the manufacturer, right? Place eco manufacturer, it means their costs of doing business will go up. The cost of manufacturing will go up. So most likely kuna watu wawili watatu ambao pengine watapoteza kazi zao. Most likely bei ya products itapanda juu. That would again have the negative effect kwa mwananchi when they're purchasing these items, right? Putting excise duties on something like motorbikes, 10%. Putting 10% on excise as excise duty on motorcycles, that would mean, we are trying to encourage local manufacturing, right? Instead of us importing these motorcycles, we want to have them being produced and manufactured in Kenya. That would mean if they're tukitengeneza kwetu bei itaenda chini, and would also tutaongeza vitu kama employment. Now you see, when you're increasing or imposing 10% excise duty on the manufacture of motorcycles, what are you trying to tell us? The effect will still be just as the same venye nimesema hapo mbeleni, that bei ya cooking oil, that cost of making these motorcycles will go up, the cost of buying the motorcycles will go up. Now the riders, by the time they're going to purchase these motorcycles, it means they're going to part with a lot more money buying motorcycles. So like I was saying, the things that I would agree with ziko kidogo more than the things that I would disagree with, as of I've
So,
tried to
Bwana
highlight
Black, can you
in
hold
brief.
on that? Can you hold on that first? We'll come back to it.
Yes, yes, yes.
They look at the finance bill so that we finish this extravagant expenditure once and for all. Then we move on.
It's fine.
Yeah. So just wrap up. So do you see Nini?
It's fine. Macha niachie hapo because
Okay, so
ningependelea
sorry
sana
for
kuongea mambo ya
distracting your line
taxation.
of
It's
thoughts,
okay,
but
thanks.
just
Thank you,
relax.
thank
We're coming back to you. And Stony PK and the other guys msiende mbali. Masandi Ohio, naomba tafadhali mchezee karibu. Okay. Namwona kabla nimlete Innocent. Empire, what were you saying?
Yeah, I wanted to respond quickly, right? Everybody is using emotion to argue, but emotion is not the right thing. So let me give my argument very precisely. I've posted a Nation Africa. I can even post a Bloomberg on the deal that Ruto signed last year in December to bring in over 680 billion shillings, right, into the country's economy. These trips he goes into, he is able to amass more money significantly, exponentially, than he's utilizing in order to have this. When you're a businessman, right, that's what he is, right? He is a business of taking care of an economy, not finance. You guys are so focused on finance. Anyone can go and do finance. Finance is just moving money around, milk, chocolate. Oh, these are small things. Economies is what matters. So when President Ruto goes into these countries, he comes back with more money and he has to look good. You think he goes there in public transport? You want our president, our main man, to be going to America on some like a sardine with other people? No, he must show force. He must go there with power so that he can get more deals, and those deals is what's going to help our economy move forward.
So,
Bernard.
Hold on. But Empire, I want us to understand each other here. Okay. I'll call it your philosophy. Okay. About business and economy does not add up to basic knowledge of economy. Okay. I'm sure you're old enough to have been a grown up in 2002 when Kibaki took over from Moi. The economy was at negative. Kibaki introduced free primary education without a budget. Okay? He got funding from well-wishers who injected because they celebrated the idea that our children can go to school without pressurizing the parents. And within the first 3 years, the economy turned around in such a way that the collection of the taxes multiplied by far. We moved from negative to 0. We began to go towards 10. Okay? All of it was not from foreign trips. All of it was not by begging around the country. It was all by tweaking the economy. How? Making the unproductive Kenyans become productive. One, introduced tuk-tuk as a mode of transport that was not in the country and made it free import, no duty on it. He introduced boda. All the vijiwe zile zilikuwa za jobless corners, they closed because all the young people got engaged. Mama mbogas had somebody to buy the mboga, and the mboga would finish quickly, they go and bring more. So money multiplied by multiplying the productivity of Kenyans. This one you are drawing to me, I'm from the church world, okay? What you're describing is what we do as traveling preachers, okay? You travel, you go to America, you preach in different churches, they give you offering, then you come home with a package that you've been collecting, okay? That's what you're describing. If that is what William Ruto is doing, then we are doomed as a country. We are doomed completely. We cannot bank on that kind of economy. And so if that is what you're telling us, that you have PhD in economics, and that is how you will revive the economy in Kenya, by William Ruto going around the country, around the world, and being given either handouts or closing business deals. Come on. I mean,
So, can I respond quickly?
how is that possible in the first place? And so, what you are asking us, I wanted to make this. The country is not different from your house. I want to ask you a personal question, okay? If your daughter, I hope you have one, if your daughter, okay, was desperately sick and he needed a vaccine, okay, that meant life or death, all right? Then you had a trip that required you to hire a plane to show off so that you can sign better deals. Between saving the life of your daughter and making this luxurious international trip with limited resources, you don't have unlimited resources, you have limited resources. You are complaining, the economy is poor, the country is crawling, there are no much resources. So we have limited resources. So you have hard choices to choose between saving the life of your daughter and making an international trip in a luxurious plane. Which choice would you make as a responsible father?
Obviously, I'll save my daughter, but that's why I want to say your analogy is false. You see, you guys are talking about finance. Finance is great. It's easy. You do all those things you mentioned, right? Kibaki came in at a time when anything he could have done would have made the economy better, because we were under, obviously, dictatorship, right? So the country's economy, anything would have made it better. The real people that made change was Uhuru and now Ruto, because they're now dealing with economics. What you guys are talking about is finance. Finance is simple. That's I put the money for the milk, for the cow, but I'm a businessman. Real business requires economic understanding. And what you guys are missing is you're looking it down as if him getting the euro dollars back into the economy doesn't matter. He fixed the Kenyan shillings. Yes, through loans and other grants.
Bernard,
Yes,
Bernard,
yes, Black.
allow me, please. Allow me.
Yes.
Empire, I'm glad you said like I said, it's your lucky day. Now, let me put this. Let me contextualize this. When Kibaki came in, what made the economy better is money had to be flooded into the economy. How did this happen? Number one, it is worth noting that every bank that starts a business in Kenya, kuna pesa kiwango fulani ambacho they have to surrender it to the central bank as a way of security. Now, what happened with Kibaki when he came in is the amount for, let me give you an example. Let me give you a flat amount. Let's say if a bank is supposed to put in, let's say 100 million, but 100 million is very small money. But just for the purpose of giving an example, 100 million with the central bank. When Kibaki came in, they lowered that amount and said from now on we'll be paying around 70 million instead of 100 million. Now that would mean from the 100 million which every bank was paying to the central bank as a way of security, instead they would be left with in their hands with 30 million, for which now they would have to find a way to make do business with it. And that's the reason why during the time of Kibaki, banks had a lot of money, which now they were trying to find people to loan the money to, because there was a lot of money at their disposal by the fact that the amount which they were supposed to deposit with the central banks as a way of security had been reduced. So you come up at that point to Melewana. That's just an example of one of the measures that they did. Another one is the government at that time of Kibaki, they spent a lot of money in the economy by ways of giving zile matendas na nini. At that time kwa matenda zinatembea sana, kwa nyingi sana. Government was spending a lot in the economy. So that's just highlight just two things as to what the government of Kibaki did to make the economy better. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for bringing that information. Now, I don't want us to go through circles. Bwana Empire, your understanding of economics, you say that is finances, that it has no relationship to economy. I don't understand you completely, because except you just want to play with words. You want just to play with words and, of course, portray that you are defending something that can be defended. In my understanding, no sensible Kenyan, including the most illiterate Kenyan, can make sense of what you are saying. If there is in this country new investment that is to the magnitude of what you are quoting, life will not be where it is. We will not be having 600,000 students losing hope of joining university. We will not be having semi-arid primary school going without food because government can't pay for it. We will not be having the government paying capitation fee for students the last week when the term is ending. All right? So I don't know where you sit. I don't know what you study. And I don't know your relationship with central bank and the Ruto economy. But please go and tell them what they are doing is zero. And what they are doing is affecting negatively the country because they are spending more than they are making. Spending more than they are making. And the worst thing is they don't want anybody to know how much they have spent, where they have gone, because what is going on here from all indicators is looting and not building the economy and not even trying to solve the crisis that Kenyans are in. If you think this is going to come out otherwise, I'll give you a date. 3 months down the road, come on this channel. We are here every night. We have not gone anywhere. We were here before the elections. We have been here during the elections. We've been here after the elections. And this channel is not going anywhere. We are here every night. Come and prove your case that America is going to bring, Ruto is coming back from America with plenty of business. If Del Monte is closing, I mean, every company is downsizing after you brought Eurobond. Even the shilling has not improved. It is just an arrangement. And I'm a Forex student. We can do that. Oh, Ndungu was a central bank governor. He used to mop up money during Kibaki's time to ensure that the shilling remained strong. There was even a campaign that you could go from wherever, supermarkets, collecting coins, asking Kenyans to bring back any Kenyan who has any coin in the house to bring the coins. Okay? So what you people are trying to fool us with is not carrying anything. I don't think Kenyans are that naive to accept that kind of whatever explanation. But all in all, we will engage until the last minute. Stony PK, please, kama mko karibu, mwanze kusonga karibu. Thank you. Fixed up, asante sana ku join kama member. We salute you. Thank you. Karibu on board. Let's continue. Now, nimlete Innocent mbio tafadhali. Innocent, karibu. Unafungiwa nje kwa nini na wewe ndio mwenyeji?
Wow. Bernard, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Sorry.
Picha yangu ndio imekataa kukuja hapo.
Wewe sema tutasikia.
Okay. You know, I didn't want to come to the show. I wanted to listen outside and sijui niseme nimekasirika ama I've been let down because this is my area. Okay.
Thank God you have arrived. Please help us. Help us if this is your area. We need that area.
Let me say about my profession. I'm a lecturer. And if these are the students we teach and mpaka wamefika wamefanya PhD wameenda huko nje na this is how they are able to explain. then we need to resign from teaching university and tukuje tu nyumbani sasa. If they are able to differentiate ama argue on the finances and economics, if that's how they can argue empire, then we are not doing our work well kwa campus. Okay, that is just in a light note, empire. But economics is a social science that focuses on the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services.
Correct.
So when we talk about the economics, it is the study or the study of economics is primarily concerned with the analyzing the choices that individuals or businesses or governments or nations make to allocate limited resources. It's called limited resources. It's not unlimited, it's limited resources. But because, or when you talk about finances, you talk about when you're talking about money and things that are worthy, money or assets, stocks and funds, resources, etc. So finances is just a fancy word. If you can, you can especially explain it from the dictionary point of view. And if we are saying that what President Ruto is doing in America is you're saying it's economics, not finances, and then ndio Bernard nimesema as a lecturer natakikana ni resign niende kwanza nisome ndio nirudi. Anyway, Empire, that's in a light note. But Empire, I think you're confusing people. I want to put it right. You're confusing people or the panelists. You need to explain it well. You're just going around. You know what finances and economics is. You're just.
Can I quickly, very quickly?
You're trying to use few of the terms that are, to confuse the panels, but it's okay. Let me just speak some few things about the trip and what we've seen. We've seen our president going to America and using a jet instead of maybe KQ business. We have business and we have those classes. So if I may use the former president of Tanzania, he used to go to these countries when he's going to get businesses for his country, Magufuli, na ako anabeba watu wote wenye our president is carrying to go and explain what needs to be explained. One of the things Empire I'm trying to explain is that when you have the ambassador of Kenya, huyo ambassador huko ng'ambo, he has also his own staff na kila mtu. So when you need to explain something, you don't need to carry the wakina Musalia Mudavadi, wakina Ichungwa to go and explain whatever you want to explain. You have those experts huko ngambo who can do the same thing. So you are able to use what the economics, your word I'm using, the limited resources. When you look at what Kenya has, then you use the limited resources. Use what you have. You don't overuse. Like now, President when he was going to America, angeangalia ni nini anaweza afford. But Bernard, what I'll say, because President alisema don't, alisema there's a word he used that living within your means. And I know my president lives within his means. I don't know why. One thing I'll support Empire is our president is living within his means. He's a billionaire. So he has to use a plane, yeah, billions. He has to use he has to go with wakina Musalia Mudavadi who are billionaires. He has to go with some how do you call them, governors, the CSs, all those. I believe they were around 34. Now 34 sio peke yao, kuna wengine walikuwa wameenda tena before that. Kuna wengine, if you saw even some of them asking questions, kuna wengine walikuwa wameenda before, and some of these questions zenye anaulizwa, they were just prepared, how can I put it, yani zilikuwa zimepangwa for him to be asked, so that I answer exactly what is supposed. There are people, Bernard, I told you there are my guys in America, and some of them were not allowed to go there because of what we were being told that kuna watu wengine wakienda huko watauliza maswali ingine na inaweza mwangusha vibaya. So some specific questions were being targeted to him so that he can answer them exactly what he wanted to answer. But from what Empire is explaining, I believe it's not haiendanishi na what he is preaching in Kenya, because he says we are supposed to live within our means, but what is using, like for example the figures we have been given, and Bernard, you have tried to explain to him ni kama hajashika vizuri, but what we are saying in simple terms is, when you want to live within the limited, that's economics, limited resources, you look at Kenya, you look what we have, and you can it's a plane tumia yenye unaweza afford. But Bernard, what I'm saying, I'm concurring with Empire. Our president is a billionaire. He's not using the resources zake as a billionaire. That is one of the problems. Sasa zenye sisi tunamwingilia. Kama angetumia pesa zake kwenda Amerika, angetumia pesa zake kutoka mfuko kama za kina Musalia Mudavadi aende huko, hakuna Mkenya angegombana ama angekuwa anamuuliza. But is using the Kenyan resources whereby the education is not being funded, whereby our counties are not being funded. And Mr. complain that 2 months they have not received their salary. Please, if that salary could have been sent to these counties, watu walipwe, I believe watu Kenya wangekuwa wamefanya kazi nyingi kuliko what is going to do in America, because kama anaenda kama ameenda kutuletea business people, those business people can be talked to even through our ambassadors, ama yeye peke yake anaweza enda as an individual mmoja with 2, 3, 4 people, around 10, let's say maximum 10, and they're able to discuss what they're supposed to discuss, but not taking 34. Bernard, umejaribu kumuelezea the calculation. 34, if one individual will spend maybe around not minimum 10 20 million.
It is not 34. It is 240. Over 240 people are on that trip. Kuna wale walitangulia na commercial planes. They are there at the expense. Kuko huko mpaka na comedian. Itumbi yako huko. Everything in UDA went to America, because I think he knew he would not have people to clap for him. So he sent a team ahead of him to be receiving him. Did you see when he landed, he was received by his own people and a small group of children from whatever school there? So this is all political. I don't see even economic sense in this trip. And then, of course, the business people he's trying to woo to come to Kenya, what environment has he created for them to follow him? Corruption is on the high rise. Which business person is coming to invest in a country where corruption is on the high rise? The judiciary is being pocketed. It cannot rule genuinely in case there is a dispute. So the parliament cannot work freely. It is obvious in the public domain that parliamentarians are bought in order to vote for things. The parliament is so twisted that they are able to rescue a corrupt minister, okay? They're able to rescue a corrupt minister with all alarming evidence to an extent whereby they deny key witnesses not to come and witness against the person so that the case wins. So after you create that picture, then you go and tell the world that come and invest in my country. There are opportunities in my country. Which country are you selling? Corruption and looting and mismanagement. You have come here in a chartered plane when when over 200 people died of floods. Just last week, I mean, yes, a week or 2 weeks ago. Yani, I don't know. Does it mean that Ruto closes everybody's eye so that they don't remember what happened? So you cannot protect your own people. You can't feed children in school. You can't do this. And then you fly a chartered plane to go and display that you are what? You said you should travel in class. You cannot use commercial what? Apana. Let me show you the picture here. Uhuru Kenyatta boarding Kenya Airways on his trip to the US. Okay? Kenya Airways. Majority of our presidents from Moi, Kibaki, if they were not going with the Harambe one, they went with Kenya Airways, the pride of Africa. What is wrong with William Ruto following in the footsteps? Kwanza yeye ni hustler. Hustler anapaswa kutembelea chini ili aguzwe na watu. Mbona achague kutumia the highest expense on a no return? Because I don't see anything returning from this except the pictures, the Instagram, and you remember there was an Olympic just before. You remember there was an Olympic innocent where there was this warrior minister for sports was what indicted. Ilikuwa waria ama ilikuwa there was an Olympic where he carried family, girlfriends, and that the people in the participants, the athletes, okay, did not have where to sleep. They performed poorly because they went to do lavish. So William Ruto is with his entire family in the US. They are having their holiday. We could say that, okay? And all of that is paid for by Kenyan taxpayer. Then you tell us that has profit for the country? I don't think so. Innocent complete so that we move forward.
Okay. So exactly that's what I was saying, that if we are using the empire's point of argument, in summary, economics is primarily concerned with analyzing. I want him to get this. You analyze the choices that individuals, businesses, or government, now we are using the government here because that's the definition, the choices the government make to allocate limited resources. So if he was supposed to allocate, he was supposed to use, because it's choices, you have choices here. And when you have limited resources, because that's what economics is, when you have limited resources, then you make the right choice. When you make a wrong choice in economics, it has its own effects. It has its own impact to the economy. And that is what we are saying, that whatever he is doing is not doing it well, because the choices he made is not the right choices with the limited resources Kenyans have. Kama the counties wangekuwa wamelipwa, kama madaktari wangekuwa wamelipwa, nurses nilisikia wanataka kuingia again to the streets, kama nurses wangekuwa wamelipwa, kama all the school feeding ama nini ingekuwa imefanyikwa, kama Maimayu people Mudhuro kwa jenga wangekuwa wamekuwa covered, and then I use the jet, hakuna mtu angeargue. But here we are talking about the limited resources, and the choices he has made is not the right choice, Bernard. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Innocent. We appreciate that. I think if that doesn't make sense to someone, and then it means mtu aelewi mambo. Quickly, I will interrupt the flow so that we get Reverend Lala to make updates. It's a few hours before the time. Reverend Lala, please. Unmute. You're still on mute.
I think it's been kind of challenging trying to get to the panel. Thank you all. Thank you, Innocent. Good to see you. Empire, Jared, and who else? And all of you in the background. I think Maungu, I think I was there and things left.
Reverend, we are losing you. Move closer to the
Can you hear
microphone.
me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm in and out, in and out. One, every hand must be on the deck when it comes to campaign. Our stand, our protest, just a little tact here. I think the most effective way is for all of us to write. Okay, we don't want to get into American politics where the Republican will come in and start fighting among themselves with the Republican, with the Democrats. All of us, every Kenyan must write their Congress or senator. Please adapt the letter on that website. If you can do it on your own, call the switchboard, let them hear from us. And the simple reason is that we have the opportunity to get our voices heard. We don't want to be dismissed, and we don't want to feel like we have to travel all the way from maybe Alaska to Washington, D.C. Wherever you are, you can do something. We can do something. I'm right now in Denver, Colorado. All of you Kenyan in Colorado, you must call your senators, your Congress people, do it. I was yesterday in North Carolina. All North Carolinas, all Kenyans who are there, please write your senators and Congress people. There is the website, savekenyanews.com, has a letter, format that you can use to write what you want. You can adapt it the way you want it, but let them hear your voices, discuss at what's going on in Kenya. I will be in Minnesota tomorrow. I will do the same while in Minnesota, that all of you must air your voices, because this is our time here in America to let the world, to let Ruto know through this Congress people that our resources are limited. Let me say something about Empire. Empire, first of all, I question your economic credibility, whether you are just being genuine enough. You used the word Kenyan's shilling is stabilized because of this so-called the greenhouse, whatever money that was given. No, we know it's the Eurobond fund. We know that money was available, and others who had taken money out brought them back in because the shilling was strengthening. That's the reason. Nothing to do with the so-called money, 600,000. So please, let's look at facts. Talk to any economist who was looking at the data, what's going on in Kenya. It is the money, the Eurobond, that has temporarily halted because nothing is happening in our economic, in our economy to stabilize the shilling. Secondly, when we talk about investors, like Ruto has come with these investors, you see, investment does not necessarily mean economic boom for a nation. We know even here in the US, we have local economies. Local economies, we at times resist investors because some of the investors, let's say Walmart, come to our community. When they come to the community begin to suffer seriously. So we have to negotiate, because what they do is they kill, small businesses. Because people now don't buy from them and they start losing, and then they end up hiring people at a minimum wage, so that they are on welfare. So they basically come and kill a community. And Africa suffers for a long, long time because we are simply a place to get natural resources. And so these companies come to extract from us rather than share technology and things that will help us grow. So when you come up with the idea that because people are coming in, investors, things are going to be fine. No, you're going to negotiate well. And Ruto is the wrong person to negotiate for us because he has no credibility. And these people know, so that they know exactly who this guy is. So they can get good, sweet deals from this guy, and then they can get what they're looking for. Ruto is the worst form of a leader, even to present to the world that this is supposed to be Pan-Africanist, because it's not. All the Pan-African is, we don't even recognize his credentials. So let Empire, please, whatever Ruto is doing will have no impact on our economy. Africa suffered all these years because of those wrong investors who come simply to come and rape our system and leave us dry. And so we must speak. We must stand up for our resources. Look at Traore. Traore, what is done, in a very short time that he has got in there. He cut salaries of politicians, his own salary. He said he's going to stay on as a captain. That's the man he's earning. Look at the economy of Burkina Faso. It's rising because people are sacrificing for their nation, the love of their nation. Not coming with a plain load. We don't know where the money is coming from. Whether it is Kenyan money or some friends of his bringing the money, we don't know if they are mafia who are coming in to hire for him those planes. But I know that is taxpayers' money being used. When we know the return will not be there, because the people coming in will come in because they are looking for sweet deals. They are coming to make money, not to share it with us. So we need investors who will come genuinely and invest, and then we can be co-equal. In other words, both the nation of Kenya and the US can benefit. Business on both sides can benefit. But the way things have happened in the past, it is always those so-called investors coming in to extract what we have and leave us dry. So please let us be different from the past. You see, we are supposed to be a little smarter, a little more educated, more understanding. So instead of just parroting all this old stuff that has been discredited for a long time, whether it's IMF and World Bank and the rest, and to say that there is money, 600, that's why stabilize the Kenya shilling is really madness. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, quickly, let me, Reverend, there is clarifications being sought here. Washington, Okech anasema, Lala, why are you not going to Washington, D.C. for demos? Can you clarify? You said you'll be Minnesota.
I didn't say I'm not going. I didn't say that. I just said there are other ways that are more effective to be used, because we have close to change tax. There are other ways. Everybody can be involved, but if you're waiting for a small number of people in the DC area alone, while we are, resting wherever we are, let everyone write. Is the most effective under these circumstances, because we don't have a very large number of people
So there will be
in
demos
America.
at,
But
there will
wherever
be
you
demos
are,
at Washington.
you can do something. Wherever you are, you can do something. That's why we have that website. Use that letter, modify it the way you want it, put your name in it, direct it. That's what we are doing right now. Thank you.
Okay. Kama Salot says American Congress doesn't care about Kenya.
Who said that?
There is this Kama Salot.
Okay, listen, let me educate you Kenyans. This is the way American system work. American system is usually the people focus on the local representatives. Because when you come to Washington to make changes in Washington, it is too late. Washington is a very expensive place, okay? So a lot of countries like Israel and others, for example, in my little local place, we had a congressperson, two of them. When they won, they get these free tickets to Israel. So they already know who the Israelis are. So when they go to Washington, they vote for Israeli agenda. Okay, they cannot go. So, but if we wait till we go to Washington and then we hire some American lobbyists to defend us there, it is too late. Okay, and that's why Kenyans around the country are very powerful, because some of these representatives have got knowledge of Kenya. But when a constituents call them about what is going on, they listen. And I'm telling you, they listen. There are two offices, one in Washington, one in their district. Okay? So they have somebody, a staffer, just to listen to the people. If you call, you can even have a tape recorder. They will tape it because they want to know what people are saying. And that's why it is important for us to do that kind of grassroots work, because they listen. Kenyans, please, they listen. And when they listen, then Biden will listen, because it is about election right now. It's about American interest, okay? So when you call their local leaders and educate them, they will listen. Look at what has happened right now. Ruto is meeting all these African American leaders. Do you think they know about Kenya? They don't know. If they knew, they wouldn't be meeting him out there. They don't know that this man, to them, is like Ruto is the Mandela. To them, is one of those African leaders who are
Be brief,
leaders.
so that
That's what
we
they're
manage
thinking.
the
But when they listen to us, when they hear you, then they say no. Like I've been, sending out in my little WhatsApp and different media, and they're calling me and asking me what's really going on here, because they're ignorant. But we can educate them, and when we do, Biden, I'm telling you, will drop him. Will, okay? I even did a little video clip, but Bernard, I sent it to you. If you want to look at it and listen to, because I'm a Democrat. Let me tell you, I'm a Democrat, okay? Democrat, they know who I am. I get involved in the politics here. My money, I've used my money. My office was even a place for, one of the election time, the presidential election. So they know who I am, but I've told them, no, not Ruto, okay? So information is needed, and Kenyans, they will listen to you. And I'm telling you, we got the chance for them to listen because Ruto is here. Or else, they will not. We can make noise as much as we can, and nothing will happen. Technically, going back to Washington, I may make it there. In fact, right now, before I was talking to you, I was trying to figure out how to get there. Okay, because I'm going to all these places, between now and tomorrow. So we are working hard. Please, please, please. I know you love to talk, here on this channel, but this is the time for us to do something as diaspora. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Henry Pozira is asking Minnesota unaenda sehemu gani? The link of savekenyanews.com, I've just shared it. You click on the link, you get the other details, especially those of you who are in the US. Let's rally together and let the world know that William Ruto is not who he's portraying himself to be. He's not acting in the interest of Kenyans, and majority of Kenyans are not happy with his.
I'll be in Minneapolis tomorrow.
Henry, you will be where?
And you can reach me, my email, my phone, you can call me. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Now, can we get Hey, Stony PK, sijui mko wapi leo. Masaa yangu ndio haya yamekatika and I'm running out of strength, so I can't be here longer. Can we go back to Mr. Wangira quickly, briefly, na alafu tuende kwa Mr. J?
Oh, thank you, Bernard. Has Empire disappeared?
Sorry? Empire has claimed that he has a live show he's going to do. Yes.
But why is he not giving us, his true name, even if we cannot see his face? Is he a Kenyan?
I think I'll do some background check, but from the look of things, he claims he's from Busia, but he's a fake Kenyan. I think he's a Nigerian.
He claims he's from Busia.
Yes.
I wish I was there to interrogate him further. But anyway, Bernard,
he's behaving like Obina.
It's such a big insult to the people of Kenya to purport that 2 million shillings is peanut at a time that Kenyans know what the finance bill that has been proposed is supposed to be doing to their lives, Bernard. And then you come to a live studio like this one and you purport that 200 million shillings is peanuts. And again, Bernard, if there was value for that money, I'd not be making a lot of noise. But William Samoei Ruto was visiting United States of America on what we were told was an official state visit. But so far, what I've seen, does not look that state official as such, because, he visited, the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum on what is called the Global Democracy Partnership. I don't know whether William Ruto is a Democrat himself. I don't know, I don't know what value it adds to Kenya by visiting, the Jimmy Carter Center. I don't know what value that it had. Then he went to the Martin Luther King Jr. Mausoleum. I don't know what value it adds, Then today, this evening, he was at a place called Vivo Fashion Group Retail Shop. Vivo Fashion Group retail stores. I don't know, of what value it is for William Samoei Ruto to visit Vivo Fashion Group retail shop. What value does it bring to the people of Kenya? So, I am at a loss listening to Empire because, it does not convince me. Because, I don't see the value up to today. Let us wait until perhaps William Ruto lands in Washington, D.C. and see whether there will be something out of it. But so far, for the 2 days he has been there, Bernard, I don't seem to see any value in this particular visit in the United States of America. In fact, Bernard, the majority of things that I'm seeing, even on, I'm on William Samoei Ruto's X page, Bernard, here on my computer, and it's more selfies, ni kama ni jamaa alienda kupiga picha tu, ni picha tu naona. I don't see anything else. I don't see anything else. I only see pictures. Selfies, selfies, selfies. You know, do you need to spend 200 million shillings to send somebody to America to go and take selfies, Bernard? At a time when we are being told, Bernard, that we need to tighten our belts. And then when we ask, somebody comes here, you know, saying that he comes from Busia and his name is Empire, and calling 200 million shillings peanuts. By the way, Empire is not a name of the people from Busia. In Busia, we have names like Wangira, Wafula, Ojiambo. Those are the Busia names. You know, we don't have names like Empire. You know, I wish that, you know, he'll be coming here more often, perhaps so that we can interrogate him further. But, you know, his school of argument does not add much. And, you know, it has not add much, you know, to the welfare of the people of Kenya, Bernard. Let me just leave it at that, and perhaps I allow somebody else to come in.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wangira. I agree with you. So Empire is impersonating himself, I think so, but we'll do a follow up to find out. But from the description, he's not a Kenyan in the first place. He's just posing as one. Then we have a lot of West Africans that have gotten Kenyan identity, and so they always give the address of where they registered, like especially the time when we have elections, like now the 2022 elections, the stakes were high. So there are some foreigners that were given IDs and they were registered as sons from Busia, sons from Navaholo, sons from various places, but they are not true Kenyans. And then, of course, since they are a products of a corrupt system, they support the corruption because it served them, and of course, it covers them to do whatever they do. All in all, let's keep going. Thank you, everyone. Stony PK is still far, so mimi naomba tu tuanze kufungasha. It's a few minutes to 3 a.m. and I'm running out of breath, so I don't want to stay longer, but let's give each other some 3-4 minutes tukipeana maoni yetu tukianza kufungasha. Ningependa kushukuru mtu mmoja alitulipia StreamYard jana. So the rest of us tutaendelea kulipa bills zingine. Tafadhali kama wewe especially those of you in the diaspora, I want to appreciate this fixed up for joining as a member. Please, we encourage you to use that particular aspect of supporting the channel. You can join as a member. The link is available at the YouTube channel description. You click on the link, join here, then it will take you. There are several choices. There is $1.9, there is 4.9, and there is 24. We encourage you to take the one for 4.5. That is a bit boosting. The majority of our members wako kwa ile ya primary, ile ya mwanzo ya 1.9. But whichever is your level, just let's be on the forefront. Join as a member, then the other one, you send your contribution through the details on M-Pesa, which I'll be displaying shortly. Otherwise, I really want to appreciate everybody for engaging us and talking. We'll be here. We must fight to keep this country running the right way. Mr. J. Karibu.
Thank you, Mr. Bernard, Wangira, Innocent, and the rest that have spoken. Indeed, it is fascinating about this Ruto gigs. You know, I'm calling it gigs because I don't see anything that it is adding value to me and to entire country called Kenya. Because if this impersonator was to be around here, I told him that we were to educate him because we are the really sons of Kenya. He was purporting saying about that he went and given amount of money, that is 4.5 billion for ECO. But if you can ask yourself, and we ask him wherever he is, if he is listening to this, if you received the money to the Central Bank of Kenya, what does that amount of money has done to Kenya? Nothing. I have not seen anything done about renewable, resources in our country. There is nothing. If it is planting trees, they told us that you can buy trees at 10, at 20, 25, you accompany us and we plant. They did not give me money to buy trees for plantation, We used our own resources at the same time. They are using our taxes to use the helicopters to move from one county to another to supervise the exercise at the expense of Mwananchi. So this guy is saying that it is under the finances and economy. I think Mr. Innocent, he gave him a good lecture that he needed to find Mr. Innocent and buy him a cup of tea because he has schooled him very well. That we are maximizing with limited resources as much as we can. As he says that let us cut our own piece of cloth to our sizes. Also, in order to cut, I think you have given us a good pictorial of Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta using the KQ to America. That means that guy was cutting the cost of the country that he spends. Secondly, another one from I think it is the former president of Zanzibar, or is the current, the one who came by saying that he is not ready to add taxes to his citizens because if I listened to that crib area, he was saying that if I can add, he will surprise the businesses that were to expand and to come new in Zanzibar. So that means he's chasing away the customers, the investors, and even the locals that who wanted to open their own businesses. It's better to maintain with the tax that has been there to attract majority, even those who are running from Kenya, to get a good environment in Zanzibar. But another goon that we are having here is saying he wants the end of his term to reach 22 when everybody has run away from the country. Still, we are really fighting ourselves in how we can manage to raise 14 to 16, and they want to leave us at 22. In fact, this is the moment I want to copy the words of Natembea. We need to stand and be accounted by saying Tawe to him. Any place that he visits to give the road declarations that he normally do, we give him Tawe everywhere. Like Mongara says that they are going, I think tomorrow for Washington to give those kind of demos. That is what we needed to be given. Even right now, it started good. Even if I didn't vote for him, people that were really heckling him from different parts of the continent of Africa, that he is becoming a good leader. But now we are really talking about Tarore from Burkina Faso. He's much better than him. Now, where is he even accurate? They are not there. If you remember, it was in Tanzania when they were celebrating their 60 years. I didn't see whether he was given a chance even to speak, because he is a person who demeans others, a down president. Yeah. So, in one word, to wind up by saying that Still, Bernard and the panelists, our team, we have a long go to go, but our sentiments, we're gonna to call upon the very Kenyans that who are listening to this channel, both in the diaspora and in our country, to stand and say away to Ruto because he's not taking us anywhere. You are seeing from Central, they are repulsing out from this ship that it is sinking. For example, my small car that I'm using, that I'm going to pay a tax of 2.5% circulation. Hey, Bernard, I don't know how you wanted to use yours, but we ask God that through the kind of revolution that has started from our members of parliament, especially the opposition, I see the others who are in that yellow thing, they are starting realizing that they are treading in a dangerous ground because wananchi wamekataa. So let us boycott, let us resist, let us shout away for this bill of 2023 and the budget that is the proposals that are there right now, so that we can exalt the Kenyan name to other countries to see that the democracy in our country is high. We don't respect the presidency who doesn't respect the citizens. It is two-way traffic. If he doesn't respect the citizens, we cannot respect him. Also, wanasemanga kama ni kumwaga ya mboga lazima tumwage pamoja na kitoweo chote pamoja na ugali. Hata moto tutazima, mafiga tutang'oa, kuni tutatupa nje. That is it. Thank you.
Okay, asante sana Mr. J, tunashukuru. Ujumbe umefika loud and clear. Let's all line up and do the necessary. Don't accept to be banned so that somebody can enjoy. You are lying low like an envelope and let him walk over you. This country belongs to all of us. And if there are people who don't want all of us to fit in here, then they should not also find space in our midst. And so, as responsible Kenyans, especially the people in leadership, must be held to account. And as William Ruto returns with his extravagant expenditure, if there is anything we are going to demand as Kenyans is accountability. Accountability, we need to know how much went into this trip, how much has come back. Because this jumping from plane to plane,
Yes,
trip
my
to
brother.
trip, is not.
Let me come and cook you guys. You asked me to come and give evidence, right? Ruto, shout out to Ruto, the honorable president of Kenya. He went to the trip and spent $1.5 million on his lavish lifestyle to look good. Now, the report has just come in, and this is why God loves me. The report says he has secured $50 million from going there by employing Kenyans in a calling center. So Ruto must be held.
Excuse me, you are out of order. You
Tell
don't
us
get in and
rubbish, please.
is that how you handle your show?
My friend, Empire.
Let's
How many
not
times
mimic
this
Empire. You don't get into the show and begin to run it. Number one. Number two, whatever you are telling us, it's the same story we've been told. Hiring Kenyans, so he carried slaves along to come and drop in America so that he get paid 50 million. What are you talking about? I mean, I
Bernard,
don't want
a
to.
minute.
I don't want to. I'm closing the show, so I don't want to open a new chapter. But the way you are reasoning,
Bernard, give me one minute, please.
Yes, Mr.
My
J.
friend Empire, listen carefully. If you are a true Kenyan, and I'm doubting, I'm going to make a commission of inquiry to know who you are, by the way. Because to be very honest, this gentleman you are calling Mr. President, how many times he has become to the public gallery? portraying that he's hiring people. He secured work in the chairman, doctors in the chairman, going to Saudi Arabia people, going, I don't know, Dubai or Qatar. How many people have gone from Kenya? How many of your brothers you have sent there? Tell us that you are coming very fast here, just pumping that he has secured $50 million for hiring citizens. Did he call the citizens to America by that private jet? Well, they give us the risk. Please, please, if you come to this show, please, better you shut your mouth, listen to what the people that are contributing, then the rest keep to your defender. Thank you.
Let me Mr. Wangira is excited. What is it, Mr. Wangira?
You know, I had gone and I've discovered that Empire is back. Whoa, what a privilege. Empire, you purport to come from Busia. And I'm a gentleman who also comes from Busia. Can you please tell us which corner of Busia you come from?
Okay. Empire, you have vanished. Okay, as soon as you find the direction to Busia, come back and tell us where you come from. All the same, like I was saying, even if you want to lie, it requires some intelligence. Call center. I mean, call centers in kule tunafanya kazi Amerika, wale wako Amerika. Ile tunafanyanga kazi hapa masaa kadhaa, then unaenda hapa unafanya masaa kupokea simu. Yaani tumepanda Hustler Jet season 2 kwenda kutafuta kazi ya kupokea simu. I don't know, but munisamee. Hata kama visi kwenda shule vizuri, there is what is called a logical argument. My maternal grandpa used to say, when God created us, he made one big mistake. So we would ask him, what is the mistake? He said, God, when he created us with ears, he forgot to put a lid. He said, kuna watu ambao ungekuwa tu unasikia wakianza kuongea wataongea ujinga, Mungu angeweka ile nini kifuniko unafunika pap so that you don't hear the rest of the story that they want to say. So the jumping up and down, he has gotten this, he has gotten this, to me is an insult to our intelligence, number one. Number two, those games are not buying. We are not boarding on any of those nonsense. We want to see coffee. Our coffee has gone up by how much? Our tea has gone up by how much? There is what called culture. Okay, maua yetu inafika huko America at what cost? How much is coming in the country by reason of our exports? Not roaming around and begging we in the name of closing which deal. Economy cannot grow like that. And you cannot say you are an economist and you still hold on that Sokoto market ideology of operation. Now, let me not... I was closing the show. But namuona Julia mwalimu amekuja. Mwalimu, umekuja kufundisha, nikuachie lesson. Mimi I'm out of breath.
Sijui Stone ako wapi. I will contact him nimuulize kama
Stone amesema bado ako job.
bado
So
ako job.
atachelewa. Yes.
Okay. So nimeingia tu juu ya huyo jamaa. Sijui amesema Ruto ame manage kusecure jobs. What did he say?
Ame secure call center jobs worth 50 million for Kenyans.
Unaona? Bernard, unaona watu hapa wa Amerikani. Sasa huyu jamaa wengine wetu tuko hapa. huwa hawahaya watu ati kwa sababu umetoka Kenya ama umetoka ama president wako ama wewe ni umetoka England kwenye king of England ako. Wako na procedures, unaona, wako na procedures, wanaangalianga labor market, wanaangalianga what they need and when and in which sector, and they don't hire because a certain president has come so let us hire his people. No, wanafanga wako na kuanga na mipango. Utapata in some years they are hiring health sector workers. Now, wanna determine this year we want maybe 500,000 health sector workers. In some year, maybe we want 500,000 teachers. Yani, wakuna kuanga na mpango. See, they don't just hire because a certain president visited. Sasa, mimi nimeingia. Then, this guy just jumped in and talked trash, Bernard. Ukweli, it is so annoying. Yeah? So let me conclude about this guy. Ali alikuwa amesema kwamba ati Ruto alipata pesa ati for green project. Now, he didn't even name one single project. Now, in the days of Kenyatta, we could name barabara, to give a name say SGR, the express highway. I mean, we could say Kenyatta ameenda IMF, amepewa bilioni hizi, na with that amejenga hii. We know we can quantify and just say something that is tangible. But this guy was talking about sijui pesa imetoka wapi. Sijui the money be used for the useless currency. First and foremost, ako Kenya na anasema anaita useless currency. What useless currency? Isn't it what we are using in Kenya? Useless currency. Sasa hiyo ni madharau ya kujifanya kwamba ako juu. Na anatumia hiyo useless currency and earning dollars. Now, I want to tell you about this guy who was talking here, guys. Don't waste your energy on him. This Ruto, huyu ni mtu wa mshahara. Bernard, show yako ni kama imepamba. I think imekuwa popular. This guy alichotewa leo akuje aeleze hiyo ujinga, na anafikiria people who watch this show and people who are the members of the panel are so ignorant. They don't know. You know, he was saying you're not discussing finances, you're not discussing the economy. What economy? And somebody back there alijaribu kumwambia that Kenya, how Kibaki grew the economy by decreasing the lending rate and making sure that people had access to capital. But lakini huyu jamaa, he wasn't saying anything. So he was trying to use some words there ati kushtua. Maybe Bernard mwambia kashtue mende, na mwenye alikuwa amemlipa mshahara mwambie ni waste of time, and let him go preach to cockroaches about that nonsense. Americans don't just hire. Unakuja hapa, Bernard wacha tu niambie process. Hata saa hizi, I'm talking about this process because that is how I came. If you're to be hired as a teacher, tuseme hata kama shule fulani ama they have what they call school districts want to hire you as a teacher, wanaandikianga serikali yao, wanafanya labor certification. They have to go through a long process and take it to 8 months. Ndio wakubaliwe waonekane kwamba wamesearch, they have looked around in the whole school district na hawana mwalimu wa hesabu isipokuwa huyu mwalimu ametoka Kenya. So once they certify that, then they're given an okay to hire that person, and they may hire them on a visa called H1B. So they don't just hire at the call center. First and foremost, they don't hire people who don't have skills. So wajinga, call centers and all that, they can pick all their school dropouts and hire them. And one other way that they bring workers here without kusubona na kina Ruto is through the green card rotary, inaitwa diversity. Hiyo diversity nia yake kwanza ni kuensure that hii country iko na diversity ya races and all that. That is why mpaka saizi bado wanachukua Afrika watu wengi, kwa sababu Waafrika ni wachache hapa na wamepunguza watu kutoka Europe. So wanakuanga na plan, hawafanyangi tu vitu hivyo. Na hata hiyo diversity wanasemanga mtu akuwe amefika form 4. Kwa sababu gani? Kuna zile kazi wanatarajia ukikuja hapa utafanya. Haya, wakitaka kuhire professionals, they are hiring. They hire teachers, and before they hire you, they don't hire you as a teacher to just go anywhere, go teach Washington or go teach. Wanaangalia the parts of America where they don't have enough teachers, and those school districts must certify kwamba wamefanya advertisement, wametafuta mwalimu na hawajapata mwalimu hapo in the locality, and therefore now they have a right to hire a foreigner. Sasa ati Ruto amekuja amepiga story na besti wake Biden, ameambia nenda utuletee call center workers. Come on, this is rubbish, Bernard. Huyo jamaa alikuwa amepewa kamshahara leo na kina Itumbi. Unajua unaona content creators wameenda, Bernard. These content creators wamekuja juu they'll be paid to spread emotion and all this rubbish. That is why they came here. Now that guy who umenyagia hapa hata iko kwa mshahara. Sasa wameambiwa watambae, they walk from one show to another, spreading those lies and lying to people. So let it tell us, because a real UDA person ni kama black. Unaona watu wa UDA sasa Bernard wako disappointed, wanaongea kama black. Wamepigwa na mshtuko. Sasa wanaongea kama black. That is how they real UDA people, that is how they talk. Lakini mtu mwenye ako kwa mshahara anaongea tu ujinga kama that guy. So just tell him if he was on pay, it is good, amepewa mshahara, lakini hajatin objective. Asituletee kwa hii show kuna watu wako America, wako Europe, na wengine wako Kenya, and they are Kenyans here in Kenya who are more informed than him. I had Innocent talking to him, giving him some real reality about the economy. Sasa asio sijui ametuonaje Bernard, ama amekuona wewe ni wa kanisa kwamba simwambie before, in fact, people who preach, they are the best of the mwambie before you decided to preach, you are qualified to do other things. Yet you had nothing else to do. Asitulete ndiye amefanya ningie kwa show. Asante.
Thank you very much. By the way, I'm a trained banker, so I understand the forex and the economics is talking about the difference between finance and economics. I mean, the moment you begin to talk like that, you are grade 6 reasoning. There is somebody who gave me a book to edit here, and I've had a very difficult time because the English is that for class 5. So to make sense of what he's saying and be able to put it now into proper language is a tall order. But what we are saying here is we are in that season of lies, but the lies for William Ruto have expired. Every Kenyan has gone for what is right, and so hata waseme nini hakuna kitu kinafanyika. And I think Empire is this same person calling himself Chuku Igwe, okay? Chuku Igwe. He say your history books will hail President Ruto as the one who expanded your economy and one of your best presidents. You are on the wrong side of history. Chuku, please go back to Nigeria. The Nigerian economy needs help. Oh. The Nigerian economy needs help. So please leave the one for Kenya.
Let him go and help Mr. Tinubu.
Mr. Tinubu need help. Oh. So if you are the PhD holder, go and help Tinubu put together the Nigerian economy. We cannot have the largest economy in Africa and have the largest exodus from your country all over the world. I don't think there's a country on earth where there is no Nigerian. And I have a lot of Nigerian friends. I'm told that they say that they tell each other when they're in Lagos. They say, have you found a visa to London? He say, no, I'm still trying. He say, if you miss visa for London, please try hard and get one for Nairobi. Nairobi is as good as London. I have said my own. Bwana Otete, malizia, kuna video nataka kucheza alafu tufunge. Okay, inaonekana Otete ameenda. Innocent.
Yep. Bernard, thank you once again.
Good. Now we can see you clearly. Your phone has repented.
Yeah. I thought I think my laptop nilikuwa nimefunga ile kakitu huko juu, nimeka struggle ndio kamekuja. My fellow Mwalimu Julia, thank you for coming in and trying to bring some sense into our fellow panelists, and we are able to. It's good sometimes to get such kind of people kwa hii panel wanatuletea, so that we are able to bring facts into place. And whatever you've said in America, those are exactly the way things are done. I told you my guys are there, so I know exactly what happens. And vile umesema, we should not waste a lot of time talking about him, but sometimes it's good to put things into perspective, especially those ones who are coming to watch it later. They're able to know what was going on and what was being discussed. And Bernard, let me just go through all these things very fast because you've said we are closing. And there's a guy from Busia mwenye anafanya farming in Masai Mara. In Narok. And he said that his fertilizer cash has not been returned mpaka saizi, and the president was telling him ati pesa yake itarudishiwa. Now let me talk a bit about economics. Kama it's a season for planting and you don't plant that moment, that season ikiisha, and you're telling me you're going to refund my money back later, tuseme ni mwezi wa like for me, I'm a farmer also. Kama tunapanda mahindi tuseme mwezi wa tatu wa pili wa tatu, and then you give me my money back, kama hiyo fertilizer you give me mwezi wa tano, I've not planted hiyo season, means I've lost that season. So I'm not able to do any business, ama the kama nilikuwa nimekondisha like in Narok. I know more about Narok. Ukikondisha shamba in Narok, you are given a season. Like me, kuna mashamba zingine huwa na give out for planting. Kama nilikupatia plant from January to August, ikifika August, whether you planted ama president alichukua fertilizer akafanya, I don't want to know as an owner of that farm. Mimi nilikupatia a season from January to August. So ikifika August, mimi unirudishie shamba yangu ama ulipe again from August to December. So that's how it works. So ndio nataka kuambia that guy, in terms of economics, that's how things are done. Sasa like the Busia guy alikuwa anasema ati pesa yake imeenda, yani fertilizer amepatiwa fake, na president anamwambia I'm going to refund you. You know, if you refund me the money, it means that I've already lost ile season ya planting and I might not get anything back. So I've already spent money maybe kukondisha, because I know that guy doesn't have shamba in Narok, alikondisha. So it means pesa zenye alikondisha, the mtu wa hiyo shamba hawezi mpatia, is not going to give him back ati amwambia ati alipe. So that is one of the things that he needs to understand in terms of economics. And economics, maybe to tell him more, Empire, if you are listening, the best economics we are teaching in campus this time ni ile, if you are a president ama as a country, if you are able to increase your exports more than the imports, that is the best economics you can talk about. I wish people wenye walina na president ngambo, he could sell our products so that we export more than we import. I believe that is more better than kwenda kutafuta billions. Hiyo anasema sijui ati is going to America to get us some funding. We don't need funding. We need, when we talk about economics, we talk about those factors, the factors, land, capital, in all those things. So if we are able to export our products to America, That is the best thing. I wish sasa hao watu wenye walipeleka wangeenda waongee juu ya miraa zetu, waongee juu ya coffee yetu, ya tea yetu, so that we can sell more and stop getting funds. I believe that is the best way we can do it. I'm also talking about the government spokesman, Bernard, huyo professional, and it's unprofessional what he was saying. Please, as a government spokesman, wachanga ku psychophancy. When people ask question, don't answer them ama kuwa demean. Nimekuambia mimi am a lecturer. When a student asks a question, sitamwambia ati sasa ati mbona umeuliza hivi. I'm supposed to answer that student ama kueducate that student ndiye aelewe vizuri. Hata akiuliza swali which is tunasema ya ujinga, what we say, it's better to be a fool for 5 minutes by asking that silly question, but when I explain as a teacher, nikielezea huyu mtu understand hiyo kitu, it'll be clever for the rest of his life. So tunasemanga it's better to be a fool to ask a question for 5 minutes, but be clever for the rest of your life after you get the right answer. So if you're a spokesman, as a teacher, I need to explain to my people so that they are able to understand that better. Number 3, Bernard, government departments are conflicting themselves. What you've written hapa kwa topic today, unasikia this department ama ministry is blaming this ministry for not doing this, and this one is saying you have not done ama you're supposed to do this. We are seeing the counties blaming the national government not doing this. So all these things are not working well for our president. Those are some of the things we need to see them working properly so that they don't blame each other as a government. And also from your topic, we have seen USA denies funding Ruto's extravagant trip. If the USA itself may deny is not the one who sponsored maybe your flight ama nini, then it means kuna mtu alisponsor hii flight ya president to America. And indeed, kama ni some businesses ama some Americans ama some people who sponsored this, then these are the guys wenye maybe anaenda kuwapatia some things. He's not going to look for us biashara manini. These are the guys mwenye maybe watakuja wapatiwe some of the businesses in Kenya. And if whatever Lala was telling us, if you remember what the president was telling some of the investors here in Kenya, ati kama you don't give in to this, mambo ni matatu, you go to heaven ama you withdraw those cases. So the Americans are not foolish. They know exactly what is happening. They know that they have listened to some of these things. So ukianza kushtua the investors and they know these are some of the things unawambianga, hiyo maneno ya electricity wenye ulisikia the investors wanauliza, those are the issues zenye any what do you call business person mwenye anakuja Kenya hawezi kuja tu kufanya biashara kama hajaangalia all those factors to make his business work well in Kenya. Thank you, Bernard, and God bless you.
Amen. Thank you so much, Innocent, for that clarification. And of course, it's important that we keep everything in proper perspective. William Ruto is Zakayo. He has accepted that name. Who was Zakayo? A tax collector. How does a tax collector economy work? By collecting things from people. He doesn't go to the farm. He doesn't grow anything. He wakes up in the morning, washes his face to go to stand in the corner and collect taxes. So William Ruto's understanding of economy is that the more money you collect, the better the economy becomes. And that's the same understanding of the PhD holder empire in economics. He thinks by collecting money around, it's growing the economy. The economy grows by reproduction. The little money you have, I've given you the example of the book, and I recommend that book It's a book written by Dr. Mensa Otabil on the two economies from the house of Isaac, the Esau economy and the Jacob economy. Okay, Esau economy is the economy of the hunter. The hunter kills, eats whatever he kills. Okay, and finishes that day. Tomorrow he goes to hunt again. He brings it, he kills, he boils, he eats. He goes to hunt tomorrow again. He brings it, eats, and goes that. That's one avenue of economy. That's the Zakayo approach. That's the Ruto approach of economy. The other economy is the Jacob economy, who is a rearer of animals. So what happens when he finds a hen, the wing is broken, he does not boil the hen, bandages the hen, puts it in proper care, the hen lays eggs, it hatches the eggs, multiplies. So it was 1, it become 20, it become 50. They become, so that economy grows by reproduction. So this one of roaming around the world collecting things is the same mentality of the tax collector. And the tax collector doesn't generate anything. He all collects by, his economy thrives on collecting things from people. And that's why when you ask William Ruto any question, he responds by, there is no money, and we will get this money by raising these taxes, by raising these taxes, by raising these taxes. And it doesn't look as these things are interrelated. Young William Ruto must have grown up with those people who used to terrorize people, those the Lee crew. Mr. Chikwekwe has run away with my Lukaraya. If you read that book, those of you who went to school where school is, he has that Lee crew mentality that akikujia pesa ya Harambee na una pesa ya Harambee atachukua karai yako. He forces to get the money. He doesn't want to know where the money comes from. He doesn't know how the money is made. So that mentality, it's all lost. It cannot help any economy anywhere. The right economy is what Burkina Faso is doing. The right economy is what Niger is doing. Get your natural resources, let them have an international market, sit and see money roll in without you begging, without you roaming around. So hii ya Zakayo ni hiyo Zakayo tax collector, ya naona tu collecting money is growing the economy. The economy grows by ensuring that you got, for example, Uhuru Kenyatta was feeding children in school. Uhuru Kenyatta was taking care of all children who are in school when they fall sick. Uhuru Kenyatta was taking care of all mamas who are going to deliver. Their bills were paid for by government. Uhuru Kenyatta ensured that the price of commodities are kept within affordable rate. Even when COVID was on, in the heat of COVID, he cut all taxes so that the price of unga, the price of essential commodities remains the same. That is how an economy is managed. You see to it that, because if you allow the price of sugar to reach a particular level, it will never drop. So you must stop it from getting there by what? Giving incentives to the manufacturers, to the producers, so that they will keep the prices where it's supposed to be. Then the government burdens, or rather shoulders that. So Ruto yeye anaona tu wa Kenya ni watoza ushuru, ni watoa ushuru, yeye ni mtoza ushuru. Kule hiyo ushuru inatoka hataki kujua. Yeye anataka kuangalia tu content creator wako na pesa. Zinakuja huko, tuweke huko 5%. Alafu watu wa bodaboda, huko bodaboda wako wengi, kule watu wako wengi weka huko ka percentage, kwa sababu ni wengi, tukiweka hizo percentage na jaa pamoja. Alafu wafanyikazi wa serikali, huko weka 2%, weka 2%. Now I want you to see the Nyoro's mind, the other Kimani, wherever the budget organizer, those are the minds that are running this country. I promise you, even 100 years, William Ruto will never bring any positive change to this country. If we want to make change in this country, get rid of William Ruto and his way of thinking, and his PhD holders who are deceiving him. hao watu wote wawekwe kwa room moja, wapigwe fimbo nyingi, wajifunze, wakuwe na adabu. Wacha nikuonyeshe caption hii, alafu tutamleta Richards atufungia. Lakini kabla ya hapo, angalia one of his cronies, okay? Hii nimetoa kwa profile ya Wangira. Okay? Huyo ni Faruk Kibet. Huyu ndio Biwot wa kizazi hiki. Anasema there are some people who took loans on behalf of Kenya and they misused that money. President Ruto is now working to repay those loans. Let us help Ruto by praying so that he can look for the money faster. Now, those are the think tank. Is looking for the money where? Where did the money get lost to so that he goes to look for it? Any man who leaves house to go and look for money and he's not working, he's not farming, he's not, offering any service and is looking for the money. Huyo si ni mwizi? Ama karumbandika? Kama mnajua hiyo wimbo. Najua Madam Julia na Stony PK wanajua hiyo wimbo. Na Mr. Richards hapa. Let's just look at this shortly, then Richard speaks. Alafu tufunge tafadhali.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Intervlog. I said this is Intervlog, and today we are in Niger State, Nigeria. We are in Niger State, Nigeria because of what is happening here. It is unbelievable what I am witnessing with my eyes right now in Niger State. What you are looking at is 1,000 new tractors for farming. There is tractors everywhere here, and more are coming. Different type of machine. Why? Because there is agricultural revolution in Niger State. Nigeria has just found out that the best way to save Nigeria from hunger is going into mechanized famine. And they go into it in full force. They have just realized that Ukraine is making billions of dollars by farming. Israel making billions of dollars on farming. Russia, the same thing. Netherlands, the same thing. Many countries in Europe based on farm. Why is it that Africa, like Nigeria that has good weather, land everywhere, free land everywhere, cannot provide food for themselves? And when I heard about this project, I became very happy because I found that they have now realized their mistakes. The Niger State Governor, Umar Obango, has just to say that he has procured 1,000 pieces of tractors for mechanized farming, which will be used for rice cultivation, sugarcane cultivation, corn cultivation, so on and so forth. And one important thing about this farming is that he is not alone. He's being supported by the President of Nigeria and also by the United States of America, because the man who is in charge is actually from United States of America, whose name is Jerry Cunningham, and he is the managing director of AWA, meaning American West African Agro Limited. He is the one that is supplying all the machineries that Nigeria needs, and the one important thing about him is that of irrigation machine. He is a professional in farming. He has supplied irrigation machine from Hink Manufacturing Limited, this company actually based on irrigation from United States. Therefore, the type of mechanized farm you see in United States is what you'll be seeing in Nigeria. During the interview, he said that what he is worried about is not a machine, is not the building. But what? The human. He believed that they're workers. They need workers.
We have to have the people that work with us. Like I said, water, land, weather. The last thing is people. And that's what this agreement about today is about bringing the people. And you have a governor that is finally ready to do something.
Why? Because according to him, he said that there will be 100 farm estates, meaning that it will be built in 100 places in Niger State alone. And each of the place must have 10,000 hectares of land. You multiply it by the 100, it will give you 1 million hectares. And each of them has already gotten 100 million for the development. This is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And that is the reason you are seeing machines everywhere and everything everywhere. And what gives me joy about this job is that this job is going to remove people from the street. There are small machines. There are irrigation machines. There are so many machines there that are just coming every day by day. And this makes me to be happy. Because if you could remember years, when I look back, there was a company in Niger State that is known as Niger Food Limited. This company has been closed for a long time, and now, based on what the America and the governor said, the company has also been reopened because it is a mail company where the rice will be cleaned and many, many other things will be processed before exporting to other countries or to be used by Nigerians. And there is so many things going on in Niger State now that everybody's expectation is very high. Especially in the next 6 months, there will be production of rice everywhere in Nigeria based on what they say. It's unbelievable, because this has been a dream of every Nigerian to make sure that the empty land in the north is being used. And thanks to the Nigerian government who provided the opportunity for this to happen, because first they had to provide the land, the plan, also the money. Now the American is worried about the workers because having workers that is going to be in 100 farm estates is not going to be easy, and each one is 10,000 hectares. And on each one of the 10,000 hectares, $100 million for the machinery and building the house and everything, and for cultivation. All these monies have been procured and the machine has been procured. Everything is now ready. And this...
Sorry, I have to cut it short, but a very interesting outlook there. So, Tinubu and the Niger State governor are in mechanized agriculture. I don't know, our PhD man, is he still there? So you should tell us, is this finance or is this economy? Okay, on the Ruto team, how many farmers has he carried to America? He carried comedians. He carried bloggers. Him is doing which economy? Digital. The Richards. Here we go.
Yes, my brother, Reverend Bernard. Good morning, I don't know, good evening, wherever you are, and everybody else on the platform now, right now. Yes, a lot is going on. I believe you hear me now. Eh?
Yes, we can get you.
Thank
go
you,
ahead, please. And
thank you, sir. Just very quick. Before I come back to Ruto and the rest, let me just begin from where we have just watched the Mr. Tinubu kind of good display. I would believe it if it was the display of Niger country or Burkina Faso. But Tinubu, to me, is just another display, like we would see another display made by Ruto. I'm yet to see the implementation of the same, because it is easier said than done. That's a very good display. And if it was supposed to be a serious work done, that will be the blueprint for the entire world, not just Kenya. But I'm hearing some jokes in the same talk when somebody talks of they are worried they would not have enough workers. What do you mean? Nigeria alone, it has got more than 300 million people. You're talking of you don't have workers? Come on. Unless you just want to display something that you know you cannot implement. I think on that one of not having workers, that one has already missed the point. That's why I'm saying it is easier to display things, but you know you cannot implement it. It's the same thing that is happening in our country. To be frank, This is what is happening in Kenya. We have the land, we have everything. Nobody is willing to do the right thing because there are people who are in power. There are people who are there. They have the wealth, the minority with a lot of wealth, but they're not concerned about the lives of the common man. The Wanjikus, they don't care about them, whom they are calling hustlers in the root of the economy and government. They don't care about them because if they would be caring about them, so many arable lands in Kenya, a lot of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of arable land. They are just lying fallow there, forests. We have very good lands that are left there, even in the semi-arid areas. So much of it that can put to serious work. That is just the same typical joke that we are seeing being displayed there in Nigeria, because we are yet to see it happening. If it was a serious thing to happen, we would see the national government coming out to talk about it, just like the same way this guy.
Unfortunately, we can't get you clearly. There's something wrong with your audio. It
my audio again has a problem.
Maneno inakatika, kwa hivyo you are not clearly communicating. If you could refresh, probably. Ama ni kwangu?
Maybe. Is it okay now?
Okay, please summarize. Let's see if it pulls through.
Okay, yeah, kwa sababu ya muda maana. Yes. Aha. Na safari hii ya Ruto Marekani pia ndiyo inanichekesha sana, maana ukweli ni kwamba amebeba comedians wengi, hata wale ambao wameenda kama grupu hii ya bloggers, bado they are part of the comedians, because vitu wanafanya is just an acting thing, it's not a serious thing. Wanataka kwenda kupaint vile mzuri kila mahali, but actually they are really, and actually they are also letting him down because they are not really helping him so much. The kind of preparation, ukiangalia vile the people who are supposed to be talking, this was a pre-arranged thing, lakini ni kama imeanguka. The kind of questions amekutana nazo was a big shock. He could not answer even one. Mpaka unamwangalia unashangaa what's going on with Ruto. This kind of joke analeta, mara kizungu yako iko deep sana sielewi, was just trying to digress from the question so that watu waanze kucheka. Ruto ni jamaa mwingine, unajua conman is a conman, anajua how jinsi ya kuplay na akili za watu, ili watu wa concentrate kwamba kizungu ya huyu mama ni kali, but he's running away from answering the real question ambayo mama ameuliza, na ni very serious question about infrastructure. Wote tunajua saa hizi vile maji imeosha mabarabara zote, kila kitu kimeharibika, mambo ya stima Nairobi everywhere, blackout leo, kesho stima iko, the following 2-3 days hakuna stima everywhere. Wako naangalia how would we grow the economy bila hizi vitu zote. And that's part of the questions we should be answering about the last mile connectivity. How do you achieve last mile connectivity kama the capital city is in darkness? That is something that should get everybody worried. So ukiangalia unaona kwamba kweli amepeleka delegation, but actually it is just another big problem ambayo anaendelea kucreate kwa ajili ya Kenyans. Looking at the clarification from the American government, it is obvious. Kile kitu tulisema ni pesa za wananchi, watu wanaenda kulipa hiyo pesa ya mandege zile ambazo wamehaya, ndege yenye amehaya, plus all the expense of the entire group ile ametembea nayo. And I'm telling you that one is going to hit over $1 billion shillings. Na hizo pesa zingefanya kazi ya maana sana. So want to agree with us tonight kwamba Ruto ni mtu ambaye amekasirisha kila mtu. And every day is actually things are just getting bad and moving to the worst for him. I hope that it gets worse very soon, so that this guy, vile unavyosema wanafaa wachapwe viboko vingi sana, na zile viboko tu mimi naona kama tunafaa kumuondoa huyo jamaa. That's the reality, because hatupeleki mahali ambapo panafaa. Asante kwa ajili ya muda, so that we may be able to get our rest, alafu programu nyingine tutaweza kuchangia zaidi. Asante sana Bernard.
Okay, thank you, the Richards. We appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for holding on until the 11th hour. We will continue with this conversation later on in the day. Stony PK will be coming later on to start a new feed, so tegea hapo, lakini naamini kwamba katika maongezi haya suluhu litapatikana. Nashukuru kila mmoja, asante kwa support yako, asante kwa kusubscribe, na asante kwa kujoin kama member, na asante kwa kutuma mchango wako wa kutusupport. We really appreciate and value each one of you. You are the one that make all the difference on all matters touching on Sound Candid Talk. So please, let's keep it right here, and we must make Kenya great by ensuring that we revert back to the right form of leadership based on our constitution and not on the sentiment of anyone. Thank you very much. Let's link up when we can. God bless you.
Sound Candid Talk sasa imeboreshwa zaidi. Kila siku ya wiki asubuhi tunapambazuka na maabudu na sifa kwenye kipindi cha baadaye tunakuletea mahojiano ya moja kwa moja kwenye one-on-one show.
Kwanza tuanze kwa mtazamo kwamba umeona vile hali ilivyo.
The age that we are living in, so many things are happening.
Alafu nakuletea taarifa zinavyochipuka siku hiyo zikiwa ange kwenye In the News Headlines. Kisha tunaingia bungeni kutazama wabunge na kusikiliza tuliowaleta kupeleka bungeni iwapo iko imara.
Mr. Speaker,
they should not be given an opportunity to be in those committees.
Who told the people to close the business? Kisha baadaye usiku kuinaangana kwenye udadavusi kamili. Open Forum Political Show.
Open Forum Political Discussion Show.
Panya akitujue tumepata the right person.
In churches, in funerals, come up and say, oh, it's our turn.
Sasa, Sound Candid Talk imekamilika.
This country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country, we are a plantation. We live in people's... No, we are not a country, we are a plantation.
Getting with Ruto is a very difficult task. It's a very difficult task. When you're talking to a stone, you cannot negotiate. The only way you can negotiate with a stone is to crack it.
Hata juzi mlisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mali nyingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuweko, wamesema kutakuwa tu na mvua kubwa.
If you know you're a corrupt African leader, you're a stupid and you're a useless person. You know how heartless you have to be to steal from dying people in hospitals, to steal from kids who are receiving the lowest quality of education, to steal from hard-working Africans, from hard-working tax-paying Africans who are working 10 to 12 hours a day. You are a stupid, you're a useless person.